It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. We're here on a Monday night, and my name is Bart Hanson, and I'm joined, of course, by the Tuckster, David Tuckman. And Dave, we've got a 5-10 no-limit game in store for us tonight, $500 minimum buy-in.
All excited?
All excited.
Really excited?
Yeah,
I mean, like super excited.
Well, this is our second Monday night show ever.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're actually going to premiere our first Tuesday night show.
Wow.
Because last week we did a replay.
Yeah, we're nuts here.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's go around and introduce the table.
Why don't we do that? In seat one, we've got, there he is, Matt. And, well, Matt's not showing much there, but there he is. There's Matt. Seat two is, there he is, Hollywood Russ. And seat three, we've got Ryan. There you go. Ryan's got that tilted hat look going. He's like the gangsta look, you know. I know. Seat four, we've got George. 25. George is actually a pretty solid player. I played with him a few times, and he actually thinks he's really good, but he is actually pretty good.
That's always good.
Yeah. Seat five is Nicole, and Nicole actually placed. She just finished the money at a local tournament here, $1,000 buy-in, no limit tournament. She just finished the money. Seat six, we're going to get somebody in there in a second. Seat seven, we got a familiar face there. That's Ramsey. Ramsey actually had 11 votes in our Big Bluff contest last Friday.
That's
right. Seat 8 is empty right now, but we got chips. We're going to get somebody in there in a second. And seat 9 is David.
David pulling up there in seat 9.
Yeah.
And, of course, in this game, the yellow chips are $5 chips. The purple chips are $25 chips. The white chips are $100 chips. And the little blue tokens are $1 chips. 5-10 blinds. $500 minimum buy-in, unrestricted maximum buy-in.
And Russ buys himself a pot there.
Yeah, he's going to bluff at it with ace high.
Actually, king high.
King high.
Yeah. Takes it down.
Takes it down.
So, how about them Jets, Jets?
Oh, boy. Am I going to be hearing about this all day?
No. It's only one win. I'm not going to go crazy.
Goodness.
But, hey, I got my, show everybody here. I've got my Jonathan Vilma jersey. All hooked up. Let's go.
And it's a small, too. I just want to
I know. I have to return it. I have to return it. That's why I still have the tag on, actually.
He's wearing a small jersey.
But the Jets are actually back in first place now in the AFC East.
50.
Yeah, tied.
For three other teams, but hey. Better than last place.
Ramsey's going to bring this one in for a raise here. Looked like it was, I want to say... Raise was, I don't want to say
$35.
$35
raise there with King Jack off suit.
Well, Hollywood Russ is going to make a call here with 9-4 of hearts out of position.
Yeah.
And here we go with the flop. Jack, 10-5, rainbow. So Ramsey's picked up top pair.
You notice how Russ plays a bigger game sometimes. So sometimes when a player who is normally playing higher stakes moves down, he loosens up his standards.
Oh, okay.
Haven't you noticed that?
Well, I noticed it on that hand for sure.
I mean, Russ is usually a pretty tight player in the big game, isn't he?
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to top the action of Friday's game, Dave. And I was getting word that we may replay that hand at some point during this week.
Oh, sweet.
Might get it on the highlight reel as well. A couple of hands were pretty spectacular hands on
Friday
night.
The last 45 minutes of the show, if you didn't get the catch last Friday's episode, you should definitely get the archives.
Yep.
And make sure you watch the last hour, because the last hour was phenomenal.
Of course, you can do that by going to liveatthebike.com and clicking on the on-demand banner.
Where is that on the thing?
Upper left-hand corner of the screen.
Cool.
We've got a couple of limpers here. Let's see a family pot here.
5 players.
5-way action. And here we go. All hearts on the flop. Jack, 7-6.
Ooh, look at that. Matt is
flopped
flopped
the
the flush.
50.
And he's going to bet it because it gets checked to him. He's in position here.
Yeah, he's got a straight flush draw, too.
He bets $50 here. Now, George has got the ace-queen with the ace of hearts, and he's going to make the call.
There we go.
Now David, he's drawing to the second nut, and he wisely gets out of the way.
Interesting
King
call there
9.
by George.
The
It's one of those
turn
hands like you
4.
could get there, you really gonna get paid?
Now let's see how hard Matthew pushes here.
Matt is really pushing here.
He's going to bet 100. That's a little under the size of the pot, and he's going to take it down. Push those flop flushes, low flushes pretty hard there, Dave.
Yeah.
Yep, and the rabbit cam shows the deuce of hearts.
Wow.
So George would have got there.
Now, if Matthew would have known the 9 of hearts would have come out, that would have been a great slow play because that would have been a straight flush against
Right.
the ace of hearts. But
Absolutely.
obviously, the deuce of hearts would have killed him.
Of course, you can follow a live thread that started on the internet by going to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on the forums key and click on World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments. The Live at the Bike official thread for September 19th. You can also email us at live@thebike.com.
30.
I want to thank everybody that participated in our bluffing poll on Friday. Kenneth James was the overwhelming winner, and he won himself a bottle of Camus Cabernet.
David brought this one in for $30 with ace rag, ace 8 offsuit. Pocket nines is going to call, and George in the small blind mucks ace jack like it was nothing.
Like I said, George, he knows how to play this game in the sense of, ace jack offsuit. It'll surprise me if he makes too many bad plays in this game.
Queen 4 deuce on the flop, and David's going to check from up front, and Ryan's going to bet it in position with pocket nines. Looks like he's betting 70.
I'm already here, but I'm on my off day.
$70 bet. He bets about the size of the pot.
David's got backdoor clubs if he gets real lucky, but
His
not much
ace is
there.
good, obviously. He's going to muck it. And Ryan takes it down. You ever played with Ryan before, David?
Ryan, I think I have played with him once or twice, but nothing memorable, to be honest with you.
Hey, Uncle.
Well, sometimes this game is, more enjoyable to watch than the 10-20 game.
Oh, definitely.
It depends on the line.
Well, I mean, you get a couple of players that are a little more comfortable playing these stakes.
Yep.
We tell him about that. The gambling.
I got to tell you, if nobody gets in seat 6 soon, I'm going to jump out there and play it.
Now, it's funny, I always say when we've been doing the whale night on Wednesday night, that's a 50-100 game, but it's a max buy-in game, Dave. This is an unrestricted buy-in game, so you'd almost like to play in this game more than in that bigger game.
Yeah, well, I prefer the unrestricted buying game.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Hollywood Russ, he's going to take it down there. He raised with 8-10 of spades, and nobody calls. Just going to take the blinds down.
God, he's gone from Russ to Hollywood to Mr. Hollywood now.
Now, just the nature of the makeup of this table, Dave, when you seem to, characterize some people at the table after you've been watching for a while as weak tight, you like to put a little mini raise in there in late position with almost any two connecting cards, hoping that you can get it heads up and that the person who's out of position will miss the flop and you can just put in a little bet in there and take it down.
Yeah, sometimes that's not a bad play. I know a lot of tournament players that sometimes do that. They like to see a lot of hands and just figure they can outplay their opponent after the flop.
Russ
Just
is
at
going
that
to
position.
limp in here with king 9 of spades. George is in there with 6-4 offsuit. And we're going to see four-way action here, plus the blinds. And here we go with the flop. Queen 9-8. Looks like Ramsey there. He limped in from the cutoff. He's got top pair. Got checked to him, and he bets.
Pretty straightforward there. Top
Wow.
pair, hit it.
Now, David's got second pair here, but he doesn't have much of a kicker. He's going to make the call.
Yeah, I think maybe he... Well, if he starts thinking of other cards that might help him, let's say if a 10 or a jack hits, he can represent the straight.
And Russ mucks the king 9. Now, the turn is a deuce of hearts, and now Ramsey picks up a flush
Right.
draw as well. And he's going to bet.
Now, at this point, obviously, probably want to go away.
He bets 100.
But you start thinking of other cards that might be able to help you. Like
Yeah.
if an ace comes, maybe you can represent an ace.
This pot was limped, remember, so people could be representing almost anything here.
Oh, without a doubt. You get 9-3 here. At this point, though, $100 bet on the turn. It's pretty much time to go away.
And he's going to fold. And it's interesting to see that David made that call because we know Russ pretty well. And I would
Ramsey,
take,
actually.
Right, but it's interesting to see that David
Oh.
made the call on the flop because we know Russ pretty well, and I think that Russ might have called with king 9 heads up there, but he obviously doesn't make the
Yeah.
overcall with king 9
Exactly.
in that spot. And we've also seen Russ make that representation where he says, well, if I hit my king, my 9, or possibly a straight card,
Yeah.
king, 9, 10, jack.
Right,
I can
exactly.
really
Any of those
represent
cards. Especially considering Ramsey wasn't that strong. I mean, queen with only 7 kicker.
there. Right.
I know.
It's pot gets limped around to the blinds. Small blind completes, and we're heads up between the blinds. And David's got king 6 of hearts there. Flop comes deuce 4-4, 2 hearts.
Yeah, he's got a good shape here.
That's a
Takes
flush
down.
draw. He takes it down.
Take it down. Interesting table there. I mean, Nicole in seat 5, she's pretty solid. She's pretty tight. If she's in there, she usually has something. George as well in seat 4. Now you can get them off a hand a little easier because they are paying attention. They can be bluffed, but it's hard to get paid off with them.
Ace rag here on the button for David. Looks like he just limped in there. And we're going to see the button against the 2 blinds.
3 players.
Well, there's the ace. Ace 3 jack, and David flops aces up. Doesn't look like he can really get paid off here
No.
by anyone.
15.
He bets $15, and he's going to take it down.
Take it down. Once again,
Well,
play
yeah.
those small aces. Pretty much you're either going to win a small pot or lose a big one.
A couple of interesting things that we had over the weekend, Dave. You actually hosted a party with some of the Live the Bike crew, myself, you, Shirley, Isaac.
Isaac
we had
came
a little
down.
no-limit hold'em tournament, and Isaac won the tournament.
I know. I don't know what was going on. I thought, you know what? We actually shot some video. There he is. The myth, the legend, the Isaac. We actually shot some video from it,
Yeah.
and it was a fun night. I mean, a real good barbecue, and obviously a few too many beers. And then, all in all, though, Isaac flopped a couple of straights here and there and takes home the money.
Now, George here is raised to 35 under the gun with ace-queen, but the button, seat 1, that's Matt. He's got pocket kings,
135
and he's going to re-raise. $35 raise. He makes it 135, so
It is.
100 more.
He seems like a pretty straightforward player. You know, you get a flush, he bets it. Pocket kings, he raises.
And I'm sure that we know George pretty well, that he's going to muck like that, like it was nothing, and he does. And it's funny, too, Dave. I mean,
Very
we
straightforward there.
had a lot to drink, and there were a couple interesting things that happened over that day. You played Shirley in heads-up Omaha high-low in a tournament style, and you were talking so much smack. It was unbelievable. And she beat you.
She did,
But you
she
were
did.
still talking smack. You were like, if I play you 10 times, I'll beat you at least 7 out of 10 times.
I think I will.
Then I quietly said, okay, Shirley, it's time for you to play me heads-up. And I beat her, and she was just
Devastated that she lost to
heartbroken.
you.
Didn't matter how much smack you took. She was
Right.
heartbroken that she lost to me.
Yeah. I think it's your relationship with Shirley.
Yeah.
She's very competitive with you.
Nicole's going to bring this one in with ace-queen offsuit.
How that guy does that?
She made it 40 to go, and
Russ is going to call with a king jack
Oliver
off
Russ,
suit. Wow.
It's in there with king jack offsuit. And here comes the flop
Well,
here.
he's got position on her. Let's see if he uses it.
8-5 tray, couple of spades.
She's going to continue to bet it.
How you doing, guys? I'm
60.
great, Mo. How are you?
She bets 60.
Is that you, Mo?
And Russ is going to take it
Good
down.
bet by Nicole there. She has to bet it. If she doesn't bet it, she's kind of putting her in a spot where giving the pot up.
Well, it's interesting. It's a little bit of a speculative call if I'm just going to fold if I don't hit the flop with king jack against Nicole. Now, I don't mind the call if you possibly could smooth call the flop and see if she fires again on the turn. Because
Well, that's
I
the
think
thing.
she's the type of the player that would shut down on the turn if she didn't have anything. You can steal
Yeah, I
the
got to
pot
be honest, though.
right
I
away.
don't like the smooth call on the flop, though, because you smooth call on the flop, you're behind, and once a high card comes out, you don't know where you're at. Once if anything above a jack hits, you don't know where you're at, because maybe she had that.
Well,
I mean, to me, you got to play back at her if you, or fold it.
okay.
I think.
I think the smooth call in that spot can sometimes do it. I mean, if an ace comes and she bets hard, then you fold. I understand that, but you know you could
And what's
easily
if- what-
represent a spade. There.
Right, and what happens if what happens if a queen comes though, and she checks it to you because she's scared because you
I
called?
apologize.
See, I just don't think that she would check ace queen
Okay.
in that spot.
I didn't see you.
Oh, that's just too close. I'm sorry.
Now,
Way too close for David.
Mo's in the house here. He's in seat number 8. It looks like coming in.
Why are you Australian?
He's buying in for 2,500. Now, Mo has tightened up over the last few months at Live at the Bike. Let's see if he can run over this table.
At this
David.
table, he'll loosen up a lot because he
Yeah.
looks at this table. Nobody at this table has a lot of money really, except for Russ Hollywood there, and nothing's. Mo doesn't want to lose $6,000 or $7,000 on one hand, knowing Mo.
Yep.
5 players.
And here we go. It's 5-way action, limped around. 9-7 deuce rainbow.
Yeah, I imagine you'll see Mo really kind of freestyle here. And
He's bet 35 here. He's got a gut shot with overcards.
And seeing the texture of this table, I think Mo should be able to run this table over.
Well, Ryan had limped in there with 6-7 of diamonds, and it's not necessarily the flop you're looking for, and he mucks. Now George has ace-7, and he plays with Mo a lot.
Well, he's on the button.
Let's see. Oh, is he gonna? He's gonna play back. It looks like, Dave. He's gonna check raise, and Mo quickly calls. So we're gonna see a pretty good
Mo's
pot.
got a gut shot and overcards.
Yeah.
He needs an 8, a jack, or a 10. Or he can just play him, you know.
Yeah, here we got about a $250 pot. The turn's a 4, so George is in the lead. Now, if he thought his hand was good on the flop, that 4 really can't help that much.
Now, George is in a bad spot of being behind, though. I mean, being in bad position here.
And he bets 100, and Mo quickly calls again. So now the pot's about 450. And the river's a 5. 1 card straight to the board, anyone with a 3. George is going to bet another 100 here. And look at this. Oh, I thought Mo was going to make a move there, but he faked us out. Faked us out.
I would have had to fold.
And the funny thing is, if Mo plays back against George,
One thing you didn't do is
I mean,
George is gone.
He's a little bit short chipped, but there isn't a lot that George can beat there on that board.
No, he's gone.
You think so?
He's gone.
And Dave, the first couple of questions are asking, who went out and gave Kenna the Camus on Friday night?
That unfortunately, that was me. But to credit Kenna, he is a real classy guy, and shook my hand, took the Camus, and just kind of just like, even gave a little wry smile in the sense that he was just like, yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
And he even said, he goes, you know what? He goes, when I open it a couple of years from now, he goes, I'll have a good story.
Yeah.
This is. And
Well, I
he'll
wonder how
even
much-
say, this is
I
my
wonder-
$15,000 bottle of wine.
Well, I wonder how many bad beats he's taken over the course. Obviously, he plays at higher limits, too. I wonder if that actually will be a one that he remembers.
Oh, I have no doubt, because
Yeah.
that will forever be the $15,000 bottle of wine that he had.
Yeah.
live you don't have to, but to review them you do.
So, but he shook my hand and really was 100% class.
At a relatively minor fee of $14.95 per month.
He actually got locked up in another hand with Barry after the webcast was over.
Really?
Believe it or not, where Barry had made the nut straight and Kenna had 2 pair on the flop.
Oh, God.
All the money went in. It was another $22,000 pot. They decided to run it twice, and Kenna, luckily for him, filled up on one of those 2 chimes.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And they chopped it up, so it was basically a wash. But once again, Barry had the best of it there.
Now, Ryan has pocket aces in seat 3, and he's pulled the limp, and he's gotten his raise by George in seat 4 with pocket 9s. Ramsey's going to come in here with pocket 4s. David's going to come in with ace-jack, and now it's probably time for Ryan to throw
Well, we're talking
a huge
40,
re-raise.
40, 40, 40.
Yeah. And let's see what he does here. He's pulled the limp.
Actually, it's 45, 45, 45. So we're looking at.
$150 in there right now. And he's going to move all in here, Dave. He moves all in.
And George just laughs.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan doesn't, you know what Ryan just said? He looked at it and goes, I only have $500. What am I going to do, make it 200? Forget it, I'm all in.
Well, this is one of those
Oh,
cases.
wait a second, he's got purple, too.
Yeah. He's going to move in for, it looks like, maybe 12.
You know what? I got to tell you, it's not a terrible play because he either has aces or he has nothing. Because he's making, some people might say it smells like a play.
Well, I was going to say, I actually make this move a lot if I've seen the texture of the hand. Sometimes I'll just limp in with ace-king, not intending to limp re-raise, but I've seen a guy raise to my left at a couple callers, and the pot's got 150 in dead money. I might push all in with ace-king there,
Right.
too.
No, and this is... Nobody can really call this.
Well,
And the only
Ramsey's-
person that could have called was George, and that would have been a bad call, even 9s.
Well, again, Ramsey's looking him down, and this is all a question. It's almost a good tournament hand as well. If you're lucky, you're 50-50 or a little bit of a favorite here. But what about the times when you're an 80-20 dog, which is what he is in this case?
Unless Ramsey specifically puts Ryan on pocket deuces or pocket 3s,
Yeah.
which would be very difficult, I suppose.
Yeah. And he has mucked.
Yeah, and ace-jack has got to be away here.
Yeah, the action's over to David here. and
David
he's
is
real
one of the
bad
looser
shape.
players at this table. Look at him. He's putting his chest out like a gorilla. Us men, we like to show off our chests when we can.
Well, again, it's an all-in for over, I would say, almost about 1,000. So he'd pretty much commit all of his chips here, Dave.
With ace-jack offsuit. What is he thinking?
He might have Ryan slightly covered. No, those aren't $200 stacks, are they? No.
Oh, probably about 125, 140, something like that.
He mucks.
Yeah. Nice play there, and good. I'm glad he didn't show. Leave that little piece of doubt. Next time he gets pocket aces, you should do the same exact thing, but move in again. Same exact play. Now you've set the table up where somebody with pocket nines or ace-jack or ace-queen might call you next time. You never know.
You know, I've seen that play moved in late position too, Dave, where you make a very, very gross overbet with aces or kings. When everyone's folded to you on the cutoff or in the button,
Yeah.
and the blinds are 5-10 and you raise it like 300.
Oh, yeah.
And then some guy thinks he's going to come over the top of you in the blinds.
Sometimes over-betting a pot is the best way to make money.
Yeah. But again, usually advanced players pick up on that. If I was in the big blind with pocket queens and somebody raised it to 300 in the button, I probably would not get involved
Well,
with it.
you're not going to let your ego get involved.
Yeah.
You're going to go, you know what, there's only $10 in the pot. I don't care if you're bluffing. You take it.
Right.
It's not worth it unless I have aces or kings. You're smart enough to not to let your ego get involved.
Pot's limped around here. Ace, deuce, 5.
Ryan's got the best hand here.
Ryan's got a weak ace, and it gets checked around. The turn is a 7, and now Mo's going to bet.
70.
With deuce 5, he's got a pair and a gut shot. Now David picked up a pair. He picked up a pair of 7s. Interesting to see that Ryan checked that flop, Dave. I mean, he did have ace 6, but he was in pretty late position. Look at this. David's going to make the call.
Well, I just don't see the point of playing ace 6.
Right.
Can't
Especially
make
if
a
it's not
straight.
suited.
It's actually, ace 6 is probably, to me, one of the worst no-limit hold'em hands. Especially in a full ring game. I mean, heads up, obviously, it's a different game, but...
But, I mean, if you're not willing to put money in when your ace comes and you're playing ace 6 off suit, what's the point?
Right.
Your cards don't make straights.
Right, exactly.
You know,
If you're looking only to make 2 pair, well, then you might as well just play any 2 cards.
and Russ is going to come in with 5-7. And now Ryan folds the best hand.
Well, you know, now Russ is the best hand. No, David, I'm sorry. David still has a king and kicker.
Yeah. And the river is a 5. It brings a 1 card straight to the board.
Two players have made 2 pair
Yeah,
here.
Mo makes 5s and deuces. Russ makes 7s and 5s. And it looks like it's just going to get checked down here. It's too scary. Third heart. Yeah. And it's interesting that Mo thought he had the best hand there and checked.
Well,
because
he's
I got
in
to tell
first
you,
position.
right? Well, if the river was a high blank, and he thought that people were weak, he might have bet it to try to win the pot. But
course.
there, I think he's trying to check it down, thinking he has the best hand.
He didn't need to bet it, exactly.
Right.
Russ, surprisingly, Russ didn't bet it. I mean, if I'm in late position and it gets checked to me, I don't mind throwing a bet in there. And then again, you don't want to get check raised, but...
I'm sorry that I laughed.
Now, one thing, it was interesting when I was playing Omaha, the high-low with Shirley, and obviously you and Shirley both have probably 50 times the experience I have in Omaha high-low. But I still thought I liked my chances against her. And I actually had her probably 2-1 in chips.
You liked your chances because it was heads up. You mean, right? Just any game heads up, you liked your chances.
Yeah, I think it's one of my strong points. I think I'm a strong heads-up player. And
C2 is raised here to 60 with
And he
ace jack.
takes it down.
You can take it down.
look at that, David, Matt in seat 1 folds ace jack of hearts like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Got a pretty tight table here, very very ABC table here. But no, I like my chances of all, and then, especially when I'm up 2-1 on her in chips. And then I made a couple of mistakes and gave the chips back, and I ended up losing. So.
Well, she was kind of annoyed by me because, obviously in heads up, you need to adjust your strategy to become more aggressive. But in a few hands, I let her do all the betting, pretty much, just because I know that's exactly what her style is.
Oh, exactly. Why
And,
not? And then you turn the winner over.
I turned a winner over in the river. She checked it down on the turn.
Yeah.
And seat 7's going to raise here. Ramsey's going to make it 50 with ace-8 off suit. And Mo's going to call with queen-jack suited.
Got a $160 pot now.
So we're heads up, queen-jack against ace-8. And there's the ace, ace-10-4. Look at that. Mo's going to muck it like it was nothing. Ace-10-4 there. Ramsey shows the ace.
Thank you.
Well, it is kind of safe to say sometimes when you make that call A lot of people will raise there with ace rag, or they're more apt to raise with ace rag rather than, say, king rag or queen rag, something like that. And it's funny that Barry Greenstein says he doesn't necessarily like to raise with those hands at all, even if they're suited in late position. He might limp in with something
Well, he was
like
talking about
ace-7
was he talking about a
suited.
tournament or in this thing?
He's talking about a cash game.
Okay.
Just because, there isn't a lot of money to be
Well, you're
winning
talking about
with blinds.
Ace-8, I got to be honest with you. Ace-8, I throw it away. I just don't see any. I don't see really any equity in Ace-8.
I mean,
no
even
limit
if you're
game
first to
especially.
bring it in from the cutoff.
If I'm playing a tournament and there's antes and blinds and we're starting moving up and we're escalating, I can steal. But in this game, the blinds are 5 and 10. What am I stealing? There's nothing there.
2 players.
Mo brought this one in with king jack, and Matthew makes a loose call on the button with ace-10. Here comes the flop. 9-5-3. And Mo has checked it from up front. And look at this. Matthew checks right behind him. Now the turn's a 4. Now Mo's going to bet. He bets 100, which is about the size of the pot. Well, he checked the flop, and Matt checked behind him. Do you think that Matt could still think that ace-10 is the best hand here? No, he's going to muck.
Yeah, Matt's pretty straightforward here. I mean, that's the only. I don't mind playing. If I'm going to play a weak ace, I want to be in late position against a guy who's very predictable.
Yeah.
Who's going to bet his hand and check his. If he doesn't have a hand,
Well, I
he's gonna
wouldn't
check.
say that Mo is necessarily very predictable.
No, Mo's
No.
not, but
Yeah.
Ramsey was.
Yeah,
Ramsey raised his ace, he hit his ace, he bet his ace.
right.
Once again, we are live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen, and we're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are $5 and $10.
Dave, we just finished up about our 7th episode of the LA poker scene
LA poker scene.
for the Poker Channel, which will be debuting soon.
Yeah, if you are listening and you live in England, you can
Yeah.
watch us on Sky Network pretty soon.
Now, Matthew's got pocket aces, and he's made it 50 to go here. And he's probably not going to get calls here, I wouldn't imagine. And a lot of people don't realize when we say that a hand like 9-6. Now 9-6 of diamonds, I'm not a huge fan of it because it's a two-gapper. But a hand like 6-7 or 6-8 suited, or maybe even 8-9 suited, is more valuable than a hand like King Jack offsuit, especially multi-way, Dave. I mean, you're talking about because your cards aren't necessarily shared.
Right.
You know,
Well, you're not easily dominated. In all
Right.
likelihood, if you have 4-5
Right.
and the flop comes out 4-4,
Yeah.
you're probably pretty good. But if you have King Jack and it comes out with 2 jacks, you might be up against Ace Jack. Comes out with 1 king, you might be up against Ace King or King Queen.
Now Ramsey has limped in here with pocket queens under the gun.
Looking
Doesn't-
for the old check re-raise, maybe? Limp re-raise?
Well, Matt limps in with pocket 7s. Cutoff's in there with Jack 5 of diamonds, and he's not going to get the raise. So we've got 5-way action. Well, 8-3-6. These are one of these dangerous flops in a non-raised pot.
This is interesting here. George has got top pair. He's under the gun.
Well, he's checked it, and Ramsey's going to put a feeler bet. He bets 50 with the overpair.
Ryan's got the flush draw.
Ryan's going to call. George is out of there with
And
7.
George doesn't even think about it. Top pair, the 7 doesn't even think about it. He's gone.
And the turn's a diamond, and Ryan's made the flush. Now, Ramsey has the queen of diamonds in his hand. He's checked. Oh, and Ryan checks behind him, Dave. And the river is a jack.
100.
And Ramsey checks again,
Call.
and Ryan bets.
He said call.
And Ramsey quickly calls a $100 bet, and the flush is there. Now,
Gave
I'm
a free card on that, on that turn.
Really not. I'm not a huge fan of that play. It's.
Well, maybe he thought the player behind him would bet.
It's a good one.
Obviously, Ryan had the button, obviously, so there
Yeah.
was nobody behind him. But
I see that a lot, Dave. I see people. I mean, that was a little bit strange, but sometimes I see people. Sometimes I see people check when they've been betting in position. When a third suited card comes out, the guy in early position checks to you on the turn, and you check behind him, and you don't have a high card of that suit. Well, I'd rather bet there in that spot and get check raise and then evaluate, as opposed to checking behind him, worrying about the check raise, and letting another suit come out, and then just.
well, like you say, it could be an action killer if the guy does. If Ramsey has 2 black queens there,
Yeah.
and another diamond comes out, it's probably an action killer.
Yeah.
And in that case, if another diamond came out, he actually lost a hand.
Right.
I'm all for being a little crafty, switching up your play a little bit, but you got to start thinking of it in your head and go, okay, does this play make sense?
Got a raise there. It looked like it was by George. He raised it to about 35, I believe. with
Ramsey's
king, queen.
flopped top and bottom.
Yep, Ramsey's got top and bottom with the backdoor spade draw. The turn's a jack. Everyone checked the flop. And Ramsey's checked again. And the river is now a 7, which counterfeits the hand with the ace-4. Aces and 7s play. And it gets checked down again.
Yeah, Ramsey didn't put a penny in there.
Nope. Well, we'll be seeing those counterfeit rivers in our dreams, Dave, from Friday night, won't we?
Yeah. Well, I mean, fortunately, I can sleep well because it wasn't my $20,000 in the pot. But yeah. I mean, essentially, that 10 on the river that brought Barry the jacks and 10s over Kenna's then 10s and 7s. That was pretty much a $22,000 10.
Now, you said you spoke with Barry about the hand afterwards. You had a little round table discussion with Mo and Barry.
Actually, it was really interesting. For about an hour, Mo, myself, and Barry all sat around and talked.
And obviously, Barry must have thought he had the best hand on the turn for him to make that call, right?
He did.
Yep.
And it looks like we've got Ollie in seat 6.
Yep.
And Ollie is a local celebrity here. Great player. I rarely see Ollie lose.
Of course, he plays well when he's running well, but he's got a problem sometimes with steaming.
Ollie, I've never seen him steam.
Really?
Honestly, I've never seen him steam ever, Ollie.
Dave wants to say hello to Ollie's wife, who's listening right now.
Raise 40, call.
And Nicole raised.
She's
She's loosening it up with ace-8 there.
Wow, ace-8 offsuit. Ali's picked up pocket deuces to her immediate left. He's only in for 500.
Yeah, this is a kind of a smaller 5-10 game. I mean, it's funny. Sometimes you play a 5-10 game that's huge, because obviously it's an unrestricted buy-in, no-limit game. But sometimes you play a game that's somewhat smaller. And here we've got a game that's a little bit on the smaller side. And sometimes less money on the table actually induces more action, though.
Well, you can play the game like a restricted buy-in game.
Right.
If everyone buys in for 500, really. You know.
Why not?
Ace-8 against pocket deuces here. Ooh, ace-6 ace.
Now, if she slow plays this and he catches a deuce.
Yep.
See, Ollie's...
Uh-oh, but he's going to bet.
Wow, that's...
She's going to make a smooth call here.
Ollie's firing out there. Deuce.
Now you know she has something here. Turns a 5.
Right. What do you call him with? She could have a pocket pair.
Yeah, he's going to check behind it. And the river is a jack.
Jackpot. Pocket aces against pocket jacks. Let's go.
No, because I just raised. I didn't think you guys were gonna call.
And it gets checked down there on the river. Wow. Well, no, it's interesting, Dave. You always say that that's a type of hand where you will either win a small pot or lose a big one if you play it that way.
I gotta be. It's funny. I don't actually mind the play by Nicole. Some people at home might watch that going, "What is she doing? She has trip aces. Why didn't she bet?" Ollie isn't going to put one more dollar into that pot.
Right.
She knows that. I know that. You know that. Now, she might have wanted to throw a little bet in there just to protect so a 2 wouldn't come out, say.
Yeah.
But, hey, he's got a 2-outer.
Oh, maybe I hit my set. I'm good.
You weren't supposed to call. That was what I did.
Dude, I thought it was good. $55.
No, it's not good.
I got enough coolers. I want coolers in that pot.
Pocket 10s here for Mo on the button.
How do you say 10 in Spanish?
Dice?
Dice? Random thought number 1 by David Tuckman.
And he makes it. It looked like he made it about 75 to go.
Actually, a 40, I believe. Looks like, because Russ just called.
Yeah, but he's got purples in his hand.
Does he?
Yeah. Ryan's got ace queen of clubs.
You're
He's gonna
right.
call. And actually, he raised at 75, so it's 85 straight, I believe.
So $85, and Ryan calls with ace queen of clubs.
And George is in there 5-6 off suit.
And George is going to call. Wow.
Everybody calls.
Oh, okay.
And now at this point with pocket tens, Dan, how do you play it? I mean, you're in position.
At this point, well, see the flop. What happens? You're in position, exactly.
Mo.
So we see four-way action.
Obviously, you don't want three callers.
$340 pot. Queen 8-5. That's a good flop for Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, you got to play it carefully, obviously,
And
because
Ryan checks it.
Check to you, Mo.
Ryan's looking for the old check raise here.
I was going to say, I would imagine that Mo's definitely going to bet here if it's checked to him with one over.
And Mo's going to give him and Ryan is, I almost bet, is going to check raise here.
$300 bet here by Mo.
It's actually to seat 2 here, Russ.
He folds. So now the pot's about 750, 300 to call. Let's see what Ryan does.
Time.
Looks like is he just going to call?
Time. Yes.
Time. Time.
Well, that's interesting, Dave. He threw chips out there. I mean, that's almost like if he's going to raise, it's almost like you could call string raise on him, right? I mean, he threw chips out there and then he said time.
Yeah, I maybe said time before that. I was wondering myself, though.
300 Mo? 300.
He calls.
Keep going.
Oh, now Mo knows he's up against something here.
Yeah, Mo bet an awful lot of money there.
Well.
And now Mo knows he's got to be in bad shape. There's no draw.
Pot's over $1,000 now.
I mean, the only draw out there is really 6-7.
Turns a jack. Look at this. Ryan checks.
Well, Mo's picked up a draw here.
Mo
He's
checks
a
right
9
behind him. The river's a deuce.
or 10. And that's not it.
Huh? Me too, one pair.
And Ryan checks it down again. So he played that rather passively. Check, call on the flop, check the turn, check the river.
I mean, you'd wonder if he thought he was up against kings or aces. I mean, that's the way he played it.
He said Mo put it in a big bet, but it was a $450 pot. He bet $300 on the flop.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mo, when I said time, when I put the chips out, I wasn't gonna not call. I was thinking about raising. That's why I said time. But first I put.
I said he was thinking to raise.
Yeah, he's explaining himself to Mo, and I think after Mo sees the ace
So
queen,
when
he
I put
knows
the chips
obviously he
out, I
wasn't
was
going to fold.
gonna
No.
take it back.
Mo knows you were thinking about raising.
That's why he said don't do that.
And the problem with calling with ace queen, calling a raise with ace queen there like that, now he happened to be suited, so could get clubs. But he put himself in a spot where he pretty much made the minimum of that hand, huh?
Absolutely.
Although I don't know how much more money Mo would have put in the pot, to be honest with you. I mean, you take Mo calls another 300 on the river?
Well, we've got four-way action here. Russ just chose to check the blind there with ace-queen. Flop comes jack-jack 5. Gets checked around. The turn's a king. Third heart. David's got the ace of hearts over in seat 9. Check-check. And the river's a deuce, and he's made the nut flush. Deuce of hearts.
15.
He bets $15 there, Dave.
So please call me bet. Please
No
call
one
me
has
bet.
anything.
Somebody.
Thank you.
We have our big poker October. OKTOBER.
Yes, October with a K.
Right, coming up September 29th. And that goes on for about 3 weeks. You can actually register for a tournament by going to thebike.com.
Are those all Hold'em tournaments, or are they a mix of tournaments?
Um,
I don't mean to put you on the spot there, because I don't know the answer.
I don't know the
myself.
answer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
50.
But we'll find out right away.
Matt's got Cowboys over there on the button. He makes it 50 to go.
He's picked up some big hands, Matt, huh?
Well, Nicole's going to come in here with pocket 7s. Ali's got 6-4 of diamonds. And Hollywood Russ got pocket 8s.
Yeah.
So we've got a $200 pot brewing. Oh, top set, King, Jack 5, couple of clubs.
Yeah, and nobody's got clubs and
100?
no real draw out there, so.
And he bets 100. He bets half the size of the pot.
And some people might say, why not slow play this? But you know, with 2 Broadway cards up there and 2 clubs out there, you want to see where you're at.
Yeah, and again, this game is a little bit different because we are kind of small stack there, Dave. But once you get into the bigger no-limit games, you can really put yourself in a tough spot. Like you said, if a Broadway comes, are you going to take the heat
Right.
with top set? A lot of people are anyways, but you take it to the heat of tune of like $30,000 or $40,000.
Well, that's the problem. If he checks that, let's just say he checks that.
Yeah.
Somebody had, done nothing with ace queen, say.
Yeah.
And the turn's a 10. and he doesn't know where he's at. Now he can't get away from it.
Right.
And instead of winning like $300, he loses $13,000. Yeah,
Right.
exactly what you're saying.
Right. Or especially like a high Broadway club there. It's the
Oh,
worst card you
exactly.
can see.
Right. You just don't know where
Yeah.
you're at. And
Yeah.
suddenly now you're playing it defensively.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's best just to win a small pot. And I get word that it's actually a mixed tournament. We've got stud high-low tournaments, and let's see if we've got an Omaha one for you. Oh, check this out. We've got a Tony Curiel No Limit Mexican Poker Open.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Thursday, October 6th.
Interesting.
Circle the date on your calendars, folks. Thursday, October 6th, Mexican Poker Open. If you reserve now, you might be lucky enough to sit next to Jesus.
Now the funny thing too, David, is the in the world of no limit poker here, if you know someone's going to run the cards multiple times, I think you can really go to war with top set on the flop because you know that you've got 2 cards to come, and if the guy has a straight, if the board is connected, you're only about 70-30.
Right.
But with 1 card to come, now you're in a tough spot.
Especially if there's dead money in the pot. If there's no dead money in the pot, if the pot's only at $50,
Right.
and the guy and you bet 100 into it, and somebody comes over the top for like $2,000,
Right.
ridiculous bet. Okay, well then you got to do your reading
Right.
because there's no real dead money there.
Right.
But if there is dead money in the pot, you can take advantage of that.
Right. Because that's one of those situations where, and we saw it one time on an episode when we saw set over set over set. If someone's going to check raise you all in for big or just make a huge, huge raise on you with top set on the flop, and there's a straight possibility out there, he could be doing that with a lot of other hands besides straight, like a smaller set or a 2-pair.
Right.
So I would say almost 50% of the time you're going to be in the lead anyways.
Right.
So it's just one of those things.
Well, we saw Mo make that play actually on Friday, and that was his explanation to us. And at first it didn't make any sense to me, but the more I thought about it, it made a lot of sense.
25.
And I'll actually use that play if I know the player I'm playing against will run it more than once. It might even affect me to the point where I might not run it more than once ever again. The turn in the river.
4-way action
5
here.
players.
Seat number 9, David brought it in for 25 with King 10 of diamonds. Oh, and he's picked up a straight draw and a flush draw. Jack 9-6, couple of diamonds.
Nicole actually has the best hand right now with a pair of 9s.
He's going to bet 50 into about a $125 pot. George is out of there. Oh, look at George, 4-8 off suit. Cole mucks. Ali's going to muck. Mo's out with the ace-7, and David takes it down. Now, of course, there was a debate, though, too, Dave, when people are like, well, what do you mean run it a few times? The overall expected value is going to be the same.
Right, without a doubt it is. I'll try to explain it the way Mo did because it really made a lot of sense.
Now, of course, let me explain the hand. Now,
Go ahead.
We're looking at a 4-card straight to the board. I think the board read 9,
8, 9, 10 Jack.
8, 9, 10 Jack. Mo had pocket aces, and Ed pretty much bet him all in, or Ed moved all in on the turn for maybe 1,000 or so. And the pot was laying, I want to say, what was it, 4,200, and it was about 1,300 to call. Is that what the?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
close. Pretty close there. There we are. Yeah, the bet was $1,300 on the turn. The pot had $2,800 dead money in there, so there was $4,100 in there after the 1,300 call.
Yeah.
And the way Mo looked at it was, he said, okay, this guy, let me just make sure there are no big hands here. The way Mo looked at it was, okay, I know Ed is going to run it 3 times.
Right.
He thought Ed was either A, bluffing, which obviously is great, or B, he thought Ed had 2-pair.
Yeah.
He didn't think Ed had a straight.
Make it 50.
$50 raise here by seat 2. Ace-8 off suit. Doesn't look like he's... Well, let's see if David calls here with ace-3 suited. No. Okay, go ahead.
And his logic was, okay, well, if he's bluffing, obviously I'm in great shape.
Right.
But even if he has 2-pair, I'm not quite getting the odds because I'm getting about, I have to put 1,300 in, and there's only 4,100 in there.
Yeah.
But his thought was, okay, if he has 2-pair, I know Ed will run it 3 times. Okay? Now, the odds of me hitting, hitting a bigger 2-pair, the board pairing, or me catching my ace, because you got to think about it. If there's 2-pair out there, Mo has probably 8 outs.
Right.
Now, the odds of hitting it 1 time isn't very good, but if you run it 3 times, and you can try this at home, guys, you'll see that you'll probably hit it 1 out of 3 times.
Because it's not... When you run the cards multiple times, it's not purely... The stats aren't purely correct. If you look at it, if Ed wins the first time you run the cards, your chances of winning the second and third go up. because your cards are still available with less cards in the deck. So it's not a clear-cut even odds each
No,
time.
and it's also a matter of, even though you flip a coin, okay?
Yeah.
50-50 heads or tails, right? But what are the odds of hitting 3 tails in a row?
Right.
What are the odds of hitting 6 tails in a row?
Right.
And so forth.
Right.
So the odds of hitting his 2 pair, the board pairing, and not giving Ed a full house, maybe it's 8 cards out of 40, so maybe it's 20%.
Now, we were talking at your little party on Saturday that I think Mo can make that play, or it's the correct thinking. If he thinks that Ed doesn't have a straight where Mo is drawing almost dead, or pretty much dead at the point, he's drawing dead
he's
to
dead.
a chop.
He's dead to a straight.
If he doesn't think he has a straight, less times than the fact that he's bluffing. Like if he puts the times where he's got a straight 10%, but he's bluffing 25%,
Right.
I think that if those odds are the same, it's real tough for Mo to make it.
Definitely.
But if he thought that the guy really, I don't think he has the straight, but
Right.
there's a better chance he's bluffing, he can make that play.
We got a raise out of David here, $40 raise, and George called with King Queen offsuit, and Nicole called as well, and now that brings Ollie in.
Yeah, 4-5 suited. Ramsey's in there with pocket 6.
And it's interesting here. I mean, Ollie's call I actually like after you get 2 calls in there with 4 or 5 of spades. Why not? But Ollie's not very deep. He's only got about $300.
Ace Jack 5 here on the flop. David's got the best hand with Ace 9.
And it's a rainbow board. George has got a gut shot straight draw, but not much else.
He's going to bet right away from early position, 100.
Oh, he's got to with his ace. See where he's at. And I imagine he's going to take it down.
105 is actually the bet. What was the pre-flop raise there, Dave?
$40.
So he's betting about half the size of the pot
Yeah.
here.
But it's a big enough bet to get anybody off. There's no draw. You know what I mean? There's no straight draw. There's no flush draw. If somebody doesn't have an ace, it's really tough to call that. Even with second pair.
And again, you're dealing with a lot of people in that hand that are not going to play back at you unless they have it. I
Exactly.
mean, George folded King Queen. He was the original raiser. Nicole folded. I don't know if I've ever seen Nicole make a move without cards.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it either. So back to that last hand. I don't want to harp on it, but so Mo's equity. The reason he made this call, and if you understand this correctly, he bet $1,300. He had to put $1,300 in the pot. Okay, now the total pot after he puts that money in is about $5,500.
Right.
Now he figures he knows Ed. He knows Ed will run it at least 3 times, and he looks at it and says, "Okay, I only have to win 1 out of those 3 times,
Right.
and I'm going to take out about $1,800 out of the pot. Since I'm only putting $1,300 in, I've got plus 500 equity. Now you throw in that little small percentage that maybe Ed is bluffing,
Right.
and it's a huge. It's almost an easy call.
Right, but you also, like I was saying, you have to consider that Mo might be drawing dead.
Right, but
So
Mo
he
didn't think he was drawing dead at all.
doesn't think he has a straight, or he puts the chances of him bluffing at a way higher percentage than the chances of him having a straight.
He dismissed straight completely.
Okay, well, I think that makes a lot of sense. Then,
Yeah, he
obviously.
dismissed the straight completely, and he said probably 75% 2 pair, 25% bluffing. Is that the way he said it to me? And in that case, I go, wow, okay. I said, so it's actually Ed's disadvantage there. It's actually to Ed's disadvantage that he runs it more than once. Because Mo even admitted, he goes, if Ed was the kind of player that didn't run things more than once, I know Barry Greenstein doesn't run things more than
Right.
once. Jonas also doesn't run things more than once. Mo said he would not have called.
Raise, make it 20.
$20 raise here by David. He's got pocket kings over there in seat 9. Double the blinds. Jack 8 in the blind is going to call. He already had $10 invested.
Actually, that's Hollywood there. Seat 2
Oh,
and
Ross,
seat 3 are
Ross.
both in there.
Oh, and seat 3.
I'm not sure what seat 3 has. He has not shown us his cards.
Go.
No, flop comes ace 10 9. Gets checked around. The
There we
turn is
go.
another 9.
He's got pocket 3s.
So Kings is still in the lead here.
Bet 75.
But Hollywood's going to bet here with Jack 8. He has an open-ended straight draw.
Yeah, David's played this pretty passively. He's checked the flop.
Look at this. He's going to fold.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, they all checked the flop. David checked it, basically inducing a bluff, gets the bluff that he wants, and then throws his card away.
Small blind, big blind.
I mean, it was only a $60 pot. I guess he just figured it wasn't worth it.
couple things that could have gone on there
Yeah.
on the turn there by Russ. You could call it a stop bet. You could also, if you had Jack 8, represent hearts. If a heart came on the river as
definitely.
well and put a big bet in. If a river heart comes, or if obviously if you complete your straight.
I mean, Russ could have played an ace that way. He could have definitely been
Yeah.
looking for a check raise and didn't get it, you know. It's not a terrible fold. Obviously, we can see that he was bluffing. David can't.
Four play.
Four-way action here. It looked like it was limped around. 8-5-5 on the flop.
Bet 30.
And
Nice little $30 bet. See where he's at.
Ryan comes out with the top pair. Gonna take it down.
Take it down. Nice play. I'll tell you that one thing I love about poker, I like about any game, but especially poker, I love the fact that you can constantly learn and constantly, reinvent your game. I really enjoyed sitting down and talking to Barry and Mo, and whether you agree with the people you're talking to about poker or not, just debating it and throwing more ideas in your head can only help your game. I want to say hi to my better half in Hawaii. Supposedly she's watching. It's, hey babe, how you doing? Good to see you. Supposedly she said she was going to come in at some point. It's 3 hours earlier in Hawaii.
Of course. Remember, I was in Hawaii a few months ago watching the show.
Right? There you go.
He called already.
It's okay. Slim chop.
The action's all called.
George Letter call. Chopping.
They're going to chop this one up.
Okay, he raised it. Well, next time you have to do it in the car.
I wasn't paying attention. I thought somebody called.
All of a sudden we go live and we have to
Okay.
do...
And is that what is it, the Highland Park Tomahawks?
This is bad for me.
Wow.
That's what it looks like. I don't know what state that's from.
I'm here to
But,
help you guys out.
I think she actually told me she's from Wisconsin.
ah,
Get them back in town.
She's a cheese girl.
cheesehead.
Yeah. She got some white teeth, huh?
I'm just gonna raise. Yeah, I'm just gonna raise.
Pocket
Yeah,
60.
Nicole actually finished 18th, by the way. I thought she was actually doing better than that, but she finished 18th, which was in the money, in a $1,000 no-limit Hold'em tournament on Friday.
Her last name is Sheridan, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Got me some junk. 6 play.
Button is in seat 4.
Six-way action, $60 pot. Queen 8 Jack here on the flop. And it looks like someone's got Jack 8. It's seat 4.
David's got top pair. Let's see if he gets himself in trouble here.
David bet 25.
See where he's at. He
Yeah.
doesn't have much of a kicker, though.
George's got bottom 2 pair here.
We raised. It's 75.
He's going to raise it. He raises at 50. He makes it 75 straight here.
15.
Now, David has bet out his top pair in early position, regardless of kicker. Now, he's smart enough to fold.
Wow,
David.
that's a good laydown by David.
Yeah.
King, Queen 7, not much you can beat there. Now, there's an interesting hand I wanted to throw by you and anybody listening on 2+2. There's actually a hand I had versus John Huang. And anybody familiar with John Huang's play is big-time tournament player and very aggressive. And I was playing a hand with him about a week and a half ago. Very similar flop. It was Jack 8-4, though. And the Jack and the 4 were diamonds.
Yep.
So I thought there were a lot of draws out there. He bet into me. I raised him. I had Jack 8, actually. And he re-raised me all in. And I thought about it, and I just decided that John was just as likely to do this with Ace Jack, 2 diamonds, or even 9-10 he might do this with. So I called him all in. He turned out he had pocket 4s, and I was in really bad shape, and I lost. But versus John Huang, I thought it was a really tough laydown in the sense of such an aggressive player. But I guess sometimes you got to be careful.
It's a raise here. Looks like it's 35.
You guys do it. I'm gonna do it. Get bored. I have to play bad hands.
We're going to see some people in here.
Okay.
6 play. It's gonna be the action.
Six-way action here.
We're all going to have the same hand.
About a $200 plus pot. Ooh, set of fives there by Matthew in seat 1.
And Russell's got a top pair here. Pretty good kicker.
Matthew checks it.
And Hollywood's going to bet it.
Bet
King
150.
9. He bets 150.
Pot's 120, I want to say?
No, it's actually about 220.
220, okay, thank
Yeah.
you. So pot's 370 now.
Action's over to Ryan with pocket 6s. And George's got pocket 8s.
Problem with 8s here and 6s is if you're calling this, where are you after that?
Yeah.
Time, please.
Get a shot of Matthew. What is he thinking right now? Seat 1. See how attentive he is. Now, if you're watching the table, and you're looking around and you're trying to focus, sometimes you don't want to just look at the guy that the action's on. You look at the other players as well.
George mucks.
And you notice how interested Matthew is. Obviously, because he has a set.
Nicole's going to muck.
Time, please. You're the best bet.
And again, it was a $150 bet here. So let's see what Matthew does.
Raise.
He says raise, Dave. There's the 150.
200 more.
And he's going to make it 200 more.
Now, Matthew's played literally ABC straightforward here.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think everybody at the table is privy to what we've seen. But he hasn't mixed it up one iota. Fine looking caps that we gave all these players, huh? We spare
He's
no
reaching
expense
for
here at the
chips
bike.
here. He's going to re-raise Dave, it looks like. It looks like he's making it 400.
Raise 200.
Uh-oh.
He re-raises 200 more. And it looks like Matthew's going to push all in, and we're going to see over a $1,000 pot here. See how much more he's got left. Looks like it's only about 250 left, and Russ quickly calls.
Yeah, Hollywood has badly overplayed his hand
Yep, turns an ace, rivers a queen. Set of fives is going to take it down
against
there.
the wrong guy.
Yep.
The last five.
I mean, what do you think that Matthew's check? Again, like you said, people might not be privy to the fact that he's played it pretty straight up the entire time.
There's just no I mean, you really think he's making that play with 3-4? 3-4 is the only draw. It's a rainbow board.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing he can. Matthews doesn't have. He's only played like 4 or 5 hands.
Right.
He's not in there with 5 deuce or 9-5.
Yeah. So we have a post here on 2+2, Dave. Of course.
Wow.
The ever popular Jive Dadson. Now he's talking about how the fact that, and I don't necessarily know if you said this, that running it 3 times does not affect Mo's expected value.
Right.
Regardless.
And I'm not sure if he heard or not, but the thing that we were trying to hit on, and this is the thing, this is the big point, is that there is dead money in the pot.
Yeah.
So obviously, if it was just $1,300 to win $1,300 bet, if I'm winning, if I'm betting 1 to win your 1,
Yep.
okay, obviously there's no difference. I'm not gonna. It makes no sense to make that call. Even if I could run it, you could run it 300 times. It makes no difference. Okay, but if there's dead money in the pot, then it makes sense. I don't know how else to explain it. Except, if you really want to, you can get a deck of cards and try it.
And now
literally take the money and try it.
Right. CW Siggy says, but if you run it 3 times, don't you lower your variance, i.e., have a chance at making some of your losses back? And I think that's exactly what you're trying to get at there.
Well, yeah, pretty much. In the end of it all, Mo is already committed. There's $2,800 in the pot. Mo has already committed $1,400. There's $1,400 in there. Okay. Now what he's doing is he's risking $1,300. More often than not, what he's going to end up taking out of that pot is probably about $1,800 total.
Uh-huh.
So he's still going to lose 2 out of 3 times in that pot.
Right.
Okay, he's still going to lose that. And he's still going to be a net loser for the hand. But at that point in the hand, he either has a choice to lose $1,400 total or probably lose a net total of maybe $900.
So it lowers your variance. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
well, it lowers your variance.
Because, like I said, and the reason why I was talking to you about the hand on Saturdays, he could rn it once, also, and the odds wouldn't change. But what you're saying is by running it 3 times,
He'll probably, more often than not, will hit his hands 1 out of those 3 times. To me, the only way to try it is literally sometimes you get a deck,
Yeah.
you get some chips, and you play it, and you try to do it, and you see what happens. I mean, you could even run the simulation on a computer. I mean, in the end, he's still going to be a net loser on the hand.
right,
More often than not, he's still going to lose money total.
right.
But he's at the point when there's...
Matthew's going to re-raise here with pocket 7s. He makes it 50 more. There were 6 people in the hand. And it looks like everyone's going to come in here, Dan.
Wow, that's a pretty,
Loose call there by Russ.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty big raise out of the blind too for Matthew there with 7s.
Well, I made it 50.
I guess he doubled up. He's feeling good.
Ramsey's going to call King.
It's kind of a sweetener though. I don't think anybody's going to fold there, like you always say.
So it's a pretty big raise in terms of what he had, not monetarily.
Right. Oh, no, exactly. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
5-way action here. It's about a $300 pot.
So now what does he do? He's actually still in the lead, but
Queen 10,
does he know it?
Yeah. Well, by checking it, obviously he was trying to add money to hit his set, Dave. I mean, that's what you got to deduce by his action there. And let's see if anyone takes a stab at it. It's get checked to the button. And it's going to get checked around. Now the turn is a 4.
Matthew really should fire at this. There's only one really scary card out
He's
there.
checked again.
He's trying to check again. Wow.
Well, you don't think someone could possibly be sandbagging at 10 here?
I want to throw a little money in and find out. The pot is $250.
How much would it take to bluff this one?
Remember, if the 10 scares you, it scares them just as much.
Gets checked around again, and the river's a queen.
And now he's killed.
Yeah, 7s is no good now.
Yeah, Russ and Ryan are going to split this pot up.
Yeah.
Nice bet here by Russ. How much is he going to bet?
75.
Bet 75.
I'd love Ryan to come over the top on him. I just don't buy that somebody's going to check a queen and check a 10 twice. If they do, hey, all the power to them.
Yep. Ryan makes the call, and they're going to chop it up.
See, I have no problem with raising out of the blind with pocket 7s, but if you're going to play it that way, you might as well just limp in.
Highland Park is in Dallas, Texas, we're getting word of.
There we go. Thank you, Ratman138. Appreciate it. Once again, if you want to, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. We do check them. We do answer them. Any questions, concerns, advice, ideas? Feel free.
Thank you.
Buttons there in seat number 9.
I got to say, though, having this conversation and after talking to Mo and Barry and all these about running it, I say that I'm starting to agree more and more with Barry Greenstein's thinking in the sense of running it at a no-limit table, you want people to fear you.
Yeah.
And if they know they can run it more than once, they're not quite as scared because I think they can always get some money back.
5-way action here. East 4-7 on the flop. Seat 4 there. George, he's got ace deuce of diamonds. I believe he's bet 40.
Take it down, George.
Here you go, George. George is English. So maybe
Is he?
he's got,
I knew there's a reason why I liked him.
some of the relatives might see him upcoming on the LA poker scene.
Yeah.
As I've said that term about 10,000 times today during voiceovers. Welcome, Matt, to the LA poker scene.
Once again, we are live at the bike. You're listening to David Tuckman and Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em, blinds are 5 and 10. If you want to follow along on a live thread, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, click on the World Poker Tour and other televised events, and click on the Live at the Bike thread for September 19th.
Jack 9-6 here on the flop.
You too can write in and make fun of our commentary.
Oh, Ryan's got Queen Jack, but George has Ace Jack.
Bet 75.
And George is going to bet 75 here at the pot. Let's see how tight Ryan is. He's going to make the call, and he's in trouble. He's dominated.
Yeah. Let's get back to our club draw, but that's not it.
Oh, wow. The turn's a 10. Now he picks an open-ended straight draw and a club draw.
That's a big, big card for him.
And he checks.
So that would have been a nice time for me. I would have loved to throw a nice little bet in there.
$125
I mean, how about if Ryan throws in a nice $75 bet there?
Or he could play it hard here by check raising.
Definitely.
The question is,
Actually,
does George have enough money to get him off the hand?
George's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's got a stack of blue or purple. I mean, this
Well,
is
just calling here, I don't like it.
No, your hand is. I think your hand is too strong just to call.
Yeah.
I mean, any queen,
Yeah, he's going to make the call.
any queen, any king, any club, any 8.
And the river is an ace, and George makes aces up on the end.
Yeah, and not an ace.
Go ahead.
And Ryan checks. And you got to, I mean, I would think you'd definitely want to bet for value, unless you, I mean, wouldn't you want to bet for value here?
At this point, definitely.
Yeah, $100 bet here on the river.
I gotta be honest. I might even bet a little more than that. But yeah, I mean, I think you definitely bet it.
Well, again, we usually saw Ryan just make big calls with big hands. He hasn't really put any money in. So when he makes the call on the turn, the call on the turn, I mean, you almost put him on something like a jack and a big draw or 2 pair.
Yeah, the pot was big enough. If Ryan, raises another 500 or 600 on the turn there,
Yeah.
I think he gets George off the hand. I'm not sure, but I have to ask George about that.
Let's see it.
And he makes the call. And George is going to take down over $500 there. This jack is good. Well, yeah, George had a stack of purple and a couple. He had about maybe 800 or 900
Yeah.
left. And if you push real hard there on the turn, it's difficult for him to call on that.
Well, it's really difficult because you can think of hands that Ryan might have. Jack 10 even.
Right.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
2 pair.
Absolutely.
And if you do get called, you're really not that bad in that bad shape. I mean, you got to think
Yeah.
of how many outs you have. What Queen Jack of clubs there? How many outs? What? Any clubs? That's 9 clubs.
A king,
Any king, any queen,
3 more kings,
And
2
any
more
7.
queens, and 3 more sevens. Yeah.
I mean,
17, if all the cards are fresh and live.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's 60-40.
Yeah. $17 outs.
Off the top of our head there.
Yeah. Of course, he doesn't know that.
Oh, of
That
course
he's
not,
got
obviously.
17 outs, but I mean, against a player like George, though, if I make that move, I think he has to have a minimum of top 2 pair to call, almost.
Oh, exactly.
I don't even necessarily know if he
Listen,
calls with Jack 9.
It's a scary board.
Yeah.
I mean, he might even be drawing dead. He might have King Queen. You can easily portray King Queen. A gut shot in overcards. That's why you called.
Ace Jack 6 here, rainbow. Whoa. Ramsey is bet here.
Uh,
The dealer,
And that's a burn and turn before the action is complete. Happens once in a while. Those of you who play on the internet, obviously, do not deal with live dealers. But
Right.
These are humans. They make mistakes. So what happens is that card goes they'll burn and turn, and they'll put the real river out there. It will be a river. Then they'll take the bad card, throw it back in, and they'll reshuffle the deck, then burn and put out what would be the turn.
Now, what happens in that case, though, if the turn card is not shown? Like what just happened. She actually burned,
And
and,
if no-
she went to turn the turn card over,
Right.
but never was exposed.
And if nobody sees it at all, then they might just bring it back and let them complete the action and put it back out there.
Yeah.
That's obviously a floorman's discretion. There's some other questions people have sometimes if there's a box card, and a box card, by the way, is if a card is faced up. Obviously all the cards are face down. If one card just happens to be inadvertently faced up, that card is actually just paper. It's like it's not even there. It's just garbage. Just toss it away, turn it over, throw it in the muck, and continue like it wasn't even there.
Yeah. Someone's got top. Ramsey's got top pair again. Queen
Yeah,
deuce.
well, Ramsey bets it. When he gets it, he bets it. Pretty straightforward.
Ali has call. Turn is a deuce. Now Ramsey has queens up. And Ali's gone.
And another, to address somebody else on 2plus2.com, CW Swiggy was actually asking if you have a number of outs, are you 100% of the time going to hit your outs? Obviously not. Obviously, and in the case that we're talking about Mo's hand, obviously, hey, there's a good chance. I mean, there's a chance, obviously, that he could run it 6 times and Mo could lose all 6. But in all probability, most times he will win 1 out of 3. But obviously, you know.
Over 50% of the time you'll win 1 out of 3 with 8 outs to come? Is that what you're saying?
I'm almost 100% on that. I mean, in the sense of over 50% of the time, he will win 1 out of 3 times.
Raise, make it 30. C5.
Nicole has raised here. She's made it 30 to go.
I said he did. Heads up.
And we're heads up here. Nicole against Ramsey. Jack 9-5. Ramsey's got a flush draw.
Nicole still in the lead with ace high, though. And she has the ace of clubs, so club does hit.
60. Raise. What is that? 225.
And look at it, Nicole talking some smack.
I'm so committed that if you put me on this,
And Ramsey's going to check raise all in. Oh, 225, excuse me.
that is nothing.
Nicole's in the lead here, but I don't think she can call. Nice play here by Ramsey. And she throws it away.
Again, I don't necessarily want to get bogged down in this stuff, but to do some quick calculations in your head, I think you're right, Dave, because if you have 8 outs, you're probably with 1 card to go, I'm going to say
About 20%.
about 1 out of 6 here, a little under 20%, which means the other person is favored about 80% of the time.
Right.
If you multiply 80 times 80 times 80, it's less than 50%, and that's how you would
Right.
basically figure that
Exactly.
out. Yeah.
Well, it's like it's the old adage question: pocket aces versus pocket pocket fives.
Right.
Okay. It's about a 4-to-1 favorite.
Right.
Okay. And each time you put it up, it's a 4-to-1 favorite, right?
Right.
But if I was to say, okay, you have pocket aces, I have pocket fives. Okay. What are the odds that you're going to win 3 times in a row against my pocket fives? It's not 80%.
No.
It's 80% each time
Right.
specifically, but not 80% for the whole 3 if you throw them all in the same bag.
It's almost it's and wow, look at this, David. There's a raise there to 50, and David's going to re-raise to 150. So 150 straight, 100 more, and ace queen against ace queen here.
Yeah, but Matthew's pretty tight. I don't know if Matthew's gonna call this.
No, I don't know either. It's just ace queen, and
No,
he's-
he's called.
oh, he did call. Wow.
We got about a $300 pot.
Of course, the flop misses everyone. 9-7-6.
Let's see if anybody takes advantage of it.
It's all in.
And yeah, David's going to
Nice play by David here. He moves all in. There's no way Matthew can call.
Well, he's got the ace of clubs in his hand, but that'd be a tough call. And Matthew has raised, David has raised out of the blind, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean he's representing you got to put him on pocket jacks or something like that or pocket queens, don't you?
If he did raise with a mid-pocket pair as well, there's a good chance he has a set now, too. And that's the other thing with that board.
There's just no way you can call that with ace queen.
Yep.
I'm actually surprised Matthew even called it pre-flop.
Yeah,
Nice play there by David.
there you go.
What'd you do to Mo, Donna?
And it's funny, sometimes plays that are nice. Obviously, it's a fine line between looking like an idiot and looking like a genius in poker.
Here's all the action.
I usually perform the latter, but hey. We've got Monday Night Football going on here
Yeah.
at the bike. And it's Monday Night Football times 2, I guess, huh?
Yeah, there's 2 games on tonight. And Dave, I'm trying to fiddle around with this computer here and find the calculator function on here.
That would be great.
But what I was going to say to you is that I want to guess that...
Oh, I got word Donna is actually trying to bring porn stars to the table to liven everybody up. Porn stars and alcohol.
There you go.
Liven up any party. I think if it were up to Donna, we would just have like strip poker games every night.
Wow, ace-10 against ace-jack. And Ali has outflopped everyone, but ace-10's got open-ended straight draws. 8-9 jack.
120? 125.
And Russ was the original raiser, I believe, and he bets 125. He's going to continue with the betting lead. He had raised, I believe, about 50 or 60 pre-flop.
Yeah, we've got some pretty tight players in this game. Between Matthew in seat 1 and Nicole in seat 5 and Ali and...
Let's see what Ali does. Ali makes the call. And the turn's a 4. And Russ bets 200 here on the turn. And Ali calls. Wow. Quickly calls. And the river is a 7, and Russ gets there with the straight. He hits the open end.
So one liner, though. Is Ali, and
Ali calls. He called all the way. And ace 10
he doesn't have much money here.
Yep. Ace 10 takes it down. And Dave, that's going to be about $500 or $600 of Ali's money there. That
Yeah, Ali didn't have much left.
Over $1,000 pot. Wow.
Right. Right, same thing.
So Button now is in seat 9. Five-way action here, limped around. Jack 3-3 on the flop.
65.
Ali has bet 65. Jack 10. And he's going to take it down.
And I'm getting word that Ed was going to play in the game, but he won't play in the game because you hurt his feelings, Bart.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, I guess we said something
Sorry about that.
about his play, and he did not appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Well, players have to realize that, obviously, our job is just to be objective and call it like we see it, and not to take anything personal. God knows I make as many donkey moves as anybody else.
Seat 6 has made it 75 to go with 5-9 of clubs, and Matthew's going to call here on the button. Now, Ali, again, he's coming in with a hand he normally wouldn't come in with, Dave, but he did lose that last pot. Oh, look at this flop. Deuce, 3-4. All hearts. And it looks like he's betting 35, and Matthew makes a smooth call here. He's got a wheel draw and a flush draw. Turns a king. And it goes check, check, and the river's a 4. And Matthew's going to win here with ace high.
Yeah.
Ali just kind of gave up there.
And this is one of those games, like if somebody were to ask me, nice close-up there, and if somebody were to ask me, how do you beat a game like this? Because this is a game where, there aren't that many players that are making really bad calls in the sense of, giving money away pretty much, like we usually see here at Live at the Bike. But it's a game where you've really got to be disciplined and patient and pick your spots. And but you've got to play it aggressive, I think.
You want to set up? Yes, sir.
Nothing eventful? Oh, you look.
Nothing, no.
Yes, all 4,000 behind. 6. 4,000 behind 6. Calls. How much is he behind? 4,000 this way.
C2 has raised here to 45.
Call.
He's got ace-6 of hearts. Eight-nine deuce here. Ali's picked up, 10-8 deuce. Ali's picked up a pair, and he checks it. Turns a 7.
100.
Ali in firm control here.
And now he bets it in position there. He bets 100 with king-8. And Russ is going to fold.
Yes, you did.
Thank you, Ollie.
All right, who wants to double me up?
Yeah, sure. Sounds like a good offer. Sounds like a
Who
good
wants to double
proposition.
me up?
I'll double you up. Sure, why not?
Come on. Don't all fight for it at the same time.
list of No, I got it. High on my list of I got it, Ross. No, I got it this time. You take it this time.
Here we go with the chip count. Ryan's in the lead here with 1,700.
Next time was 400.
Mo's got about 1,300. And this is kind of a small table again, like we said.
Yeah, this is, smallish 5-10 no limit game.
Can you handle this much?
And here we go with the flop. Ace, deuce, 6.
Where is Mo?
45.
And Ali's going to bet out here with a flush draw. He bets 45. No one has an ace. And he's most likely going to take it down.
Yeah, Ali's got a pretty good reputation. When he bets, he usually has something, and it allows him to pick things up with draws.
No, already.
Best drawer out there.
Thank you, Ollie.
$275. That's all I need. Double? Then, nothing. Yeah.
Seat 9's got an ace rag. He's going to limp in.
I'll take it to pot.
Agreed.
Limp,
If I
limp.
come over deuce 3, I'm going to play it.
Agreed is good. Is that what you said?
We haven't really seen anyone make any moves here so far tonight.
No, this is straightforward as you can get.
Yeah.
Now look
6-4
I mean, sometimes it can be really frustrating to play at a table like this because you're just not going to get paid off. You've really got to be content and just kind of like picking up little pot by little pot by little pot,
a check.
playing small ball almost.
Turns
Ollie's got the best hand now.
turns a queen.
Take it, Russ.
And Russ has bet 40 here. He's trying to pick up the pot. Well, Nicole has a flush draw, and she mucks with one card to come. And Ali makes the call with a weak queen.
Money to call. I have to go all in.
2 players.
And the river's a 10. And it goes check, check, and Ali's going to take it down there with a pair of queens.
Thank you, Ollie.
What did you do with yours?
And the action is hot and heavy here at Live at the Bike.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Kissing it.
That was a very nice game.
I'm actually going to Hawaii on Friday. Bart. Flying out for the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Spend a little time on the beach. Get a little tan. Make a little love.
Ah.
Get down tonight.
Well, Pocket Aces is limped in over there in second position. And there hasn't been a lot of pre-flop raising in this game, Dave.
5 players.
And he's not going to get the raise. Seat number 3 with Pocket Aces. Flop comes Queen 8-7.
Oh, seat 4. No, actually, nobody's got a queen now. No.
That's 75.
Brian's going to throw out $75 bet.
And he takes it down.
There you go.
Yes. He can double me up.
And we're getting word that Corporation Mike is coming to the game.
Well, that will
Should
liven the
liven-
game up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. Sometimes it's a live poker, obviously. And,
Yeah.
and
I'm not scared.
whether you're a tournament player or a cash game, obviously it's very important to be able to change your game up depending on the type of table you're playing at. And obviously, if you're playing at a table with Corporation Mike or Friday Night's table, and you had some real live players and bluffers going on, or at a table like this where you've got pretty much straightforward ABC solid play going on, you've got to be able to mix it up and adjust your play.
We got a hand here, Dave. I think that seat 4 has pocket kings. He's got to show his cards because someone else has got pocket aces. It's Hollywood Russ.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see does he have pocket kings over there? Seat 4. Yes, he does. And Hollywood Russ has got aces, and he's smooth called. He's throwing a trap. Aces against kings.
Uh-oh.
Here comes the flop. 10, 4, 3. Ali's in the hand with ace jack, and both players check. And a free card comes. The turn's a 5. They're both trying to get tricky. And Russ is checked again.
Wow.
And these players are pretty deep. George and Russ are pretty deep.
Now,
George
now the
bets.
thing is, now with checking it once, you wonder if maybe the 5 is going to kill any of his action.
Yeah, because now it might make George get off the hand easier.
Well, he plays scared poker sometimes.
Yeah, $125 bet here into about a $150 pot. So the pot's now $275, $125 to call. And did Russ just call? He just called.
He's going to kill. He's going to really hit himself after he sees the end of his hand.
The turn is, the river's an 8.
He doesn't make a lot of money on this, and he's checked it.
125.
And George bets 125. Well, now let's see if he check raises the river, Dave.
There's no way, Jordan.
Yeah, he's going to check raise it to 250.
Okay.
I mean, but he's played so slow the entire
So
hand.
slow.
It's just ridiculous.
And now George has got to look at it and go, what does this guy have? Maybe
Well,
paid 2 pair?
He's probably going to pay him off.
Right, but he's not going to raise him again.
But he's
I
not.
don't
He's
think.
definitely not going to raise. I mean, there's way too much out there now.
It's just too easy. You go, okay, well, maybe the guy is 6'7". Who knows?
I mean, with George, he's gonna pay it off. But Russ could have had.
Could have had the whole money.
Russ could have had all of George's money
Yeah.
there.
Shit, I think I'm feeling beat, man.
Oh, actually, he hasn't called yet. Let's see here. I mean, George is actually capable of laying this hand down. It's just Russ didn't check raise him all that much.
It's just weird. How did the 8 help?
Hey,
Boy,
You want to see him now or later?
And George is going to be thrilled.
how can Russ not be upset about that?
Oh, I mean,
I
he won. I mean, don't get me wrong. He won about an $800 pot.
could have had all of his money.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's incredible.
Played it so slow.
Incredible.
One less than that.
That stinks when that happens.
That was
What did I say about Ed?
really strange.
Yeah,
that was really strange. hand.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that happen before, but with one pair, you're waiting until the river to
Yeah,
check
and then he
raise.
checked on the river. I can't. Such an odd play.
I mean, what if George had just tried to solo it with Ace King or something at the end? I mean, he had bet on the turn to try to steal it with Ace King, and he checks the river. That's really strange. I mean, he just got lucky that George happened to play it slow at the same time in the beginning of the hand.
No, I think got unlucky that he actually played it slow. Had George played hard, the money might have gone out on the flop.
No, I'm saying that
I would have folded. I was thinking.
You know what I
he
mean?
got lucky to get paid off on the river because George was playing it slow in the beginning of the hand.
Right,
But he could have had a lot more money. Yeah,
I mean, they were both bit slow playing their big hand, and
Yeah.
it turned out
10-8 or something.
they're both trying to trap each other.
Or some kind of weird funky shit. 40.
Ali has moved to seat 8, and he's going to bet here. A pot was limped around,
Yeah, he's got an open-ended straight draw. I'll probably take it down.
and he does.
125. Turn the river.
I don't know. What did I say about Ed that would get him so upset? Strange.
He actually, he said something to me. I bumped
I'm sure
into
it was
him.
something that I didn't say, that either you or Shirley said that I'm now getting blamed for saying.
No, it was actually something. It was actually
As always.
I think it was actually me. I think I said something along
Exactly.
the lines
As
of.
always.
I think it was actually he had said that I called him a calling station.
Ah.
That I said he calls everybody.
It happens more. It happened more to me towards the beginning of the show, Dave, a few months ago, like about 6-7 months ago, where people would come up to me and get mad at me for something that you or Shirley said.
And look at this. George has got pocket kings again.
He's raised it up here.
But David David actually laid down ace. I want to say ace queen there. Wow.
Wow.
Big lay down there for David.
Oh,
This time they were.
And he takes it
My
down.
goodness.
my goodness, George.
Well, you're supposed to be
How much did I make?
here.
$15 minus the.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
definitely just 15.
Yeah, George can smile losing to aces because he didn't go broke on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, those are times when you have kings and somebody else's aces in a no-limit game. You kind of go, I hope I don't go broke. Kind of a quiet night over here at 2+2. Where's everybody?
Well, it is our second Monday night game.
Yes, exactly. Ryan's picked up a big hand. Ryan's got ace king of hearts in seat 3. And Ollie's got pocket 4s over there in seat 8.
4 players.
And he's just he's in a small blind. He decides to see a flop. 4 players. And it's a $40 pot here. 2 spades, 10, 7, 5. Well, Russ actually has the best hand right now. He picked up a pair of 5s. And he has the button, so he figured he'd use his position.
He gets called there by Ryan with red ace king, and he hits a king.
Yeah.
Wow.
50.
And he bets 50.
Some people just don't like getting rid of ace king here.
Ryan's
He got
gonna
lucky.
check raise. He's going to make it at 50 more to go.
The reason I don't like that call, actually, is what if an ace of spades or a king of spades had come out there? What do you do then?
And Russ calls, and the river's a 9 now. And Ryan bets, and Russ mucks. A little lucky there for Ryan to spike that king. Like you said, it wasn't a spade.
Yeah, to me, you can say he has 6 outs because if he knows that the guy doesn't have spades.
Right.
But if the other guy has spades, then the guy's drawing the 4 outs. And then you got to hope he doesn't have an ace with his 5, something like that. He's not playing like ace rag.
Well, we've gotten an email here from somebody here. The senator, he calls himself, from the UK, and we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, cool.
Ryan Wellings. That's a good English name. Nigel. I'm trying to think of some English.
His
other
name
names.
is Nigel?
Well, no, his last name is Wellings. but-
Oh, okay. I don't know, my cousins, actually, Melissa's cousins are English. Their names are Crispian and Ace. Are those English?
Well, look at George making a move here. A couple of limpers, maybe 4 or 5 limpers, and he's going to make a raise to pick up the pot. He's got 4-10 offsuit.
See, to me, that's how you got to beat this game. And you take them down $10 at a time.
Yeah.
$10 at a time. You're not going to win a lot of big pots. Unless you get real lucky, you get set over set or aces over kings. You're not going to win a big pot.
Well, he says hi to us from the UK, enjoys the show. He has a couple questions. What is the rake for this game, David?
The rake is actually in this game here. The rake, I believe, is $3 plus
Yep.
1 to the jackpot.
There you go. So it's a $4 rake. And in the high-limit games...
Well, the jackpot's going right back to the players, so.
Right. And in a high-limit game, obviously we consistently see over $10,000 pots. Do they ever token white chips?
I'm sure occasionally they do. I haven't seen it normally. Kenneth James, actually, after he came in second place in Legends of Poker, walked around and gave $100 chips to many of the floor men and dealers here that he's friends with. But
Normally it's just a $1 toke, right?
yeah, 1 or 2, or even a $5 toke sometimes. But if you start tipping $100 here and there,
Yep.
it can hurt your hourly rate.
And again, he says, I can't seem to find the archives online. How do I access them? Well, you click on the on-demand banner. And I've got assurance from our tech staff that those will be clearly, I don't know if it will be changed.
50.
It says on demand.
on demand, but I think that we're going to...
It's the top left corner of the
We're
website.
going
if
to
you go
change
to
it
Live
so
with the
that
Bike.
it'll say archives at some point. So you know a lot of people have problems with that, finding the archives.
I'm all in.
And Nicole is all in, or she's just moving her across the table.
3 players.
$50 here,
Yeah.
4 ways.
$200 pot.
Checks in.
3 ways, sorry.
$150 pot. Ooh, Queen 9 Queen. What a flop for Hollywood Russ. Flops a full house, and Ramsey's got trip queens as well.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's a pretty good flop.
And George is the original raiser, so he continues the betting lead on the button.
75.
Bet 75 with ace 10.
Yeah, all the money should go in here, I imagine.
Well, Ramsey calls. Now, if you had trip queens without a full house, you might check raise here, but Russ has got the goods, so you may just smooth call here as well. And he is.
See, I raised the minimum there. I want to get.
Yeah, you want to get some more money in the pot, right?
Why not? If somebody's got a queen, they're not going anywhere.
Turn
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't mind smooth calling. Maybe if somebody has Jack 10, they can get there. You know, there's no flush draw out there. I'm saying.
And it gets checked around to George again here. Both players with the queens have not
George
put
isn't gonna bet
any
that. He's not
money
stupid.
in the pot. And
He
let's
bet it
see the
once.
river. And the river
Wow.
is a jack.
Oh my, Ramsey just got him.
Oh, wow. Ramsey makes a higher full house.
Yeah, that's the killer card.
150.
And he bets 150.
All in.
And Russ quickly moves all in over the top with queen 9.
Yeah.
And Ramsey's going to instantly call here, I'm sure.
Why is he even putting his chips in the middle?
And Russ says, I flopped the full house. Well, Ramsey's rivered a full house.
Oh, what a river. And that just makes Russ sick. Oh, let's get Russ. Let's see Russ there. Oh, and he's just Hollywood. Oh,
And how much more did Ramsey have over there?
Ramsey
in
only had
C7?
about another $500, so.
Looks like 250 or 400.
$400 more.
Ah.
Oh, wow. And I got to say, whether you slow play that, no matter how you play that, you're going to lose.
But you really say, though, you like to check raise and get some more money in there a little bit?
I
Just
do
the
usually.
minimum?
In that case, there was a draw, just in case somebody had Jack 10. I want to let them get there.
Yeah,
But if they have Jack 10, they'll probably call the minimum raise.
right.
Get
So
some
you're
money.
trying to give people the right price to
Right.
make the call.
Yeah, the right price when they're drawing dead.
Right. But what they think, is the
Right.
right
What they
price to
think they
make
might
the
have an out. They go, ooh, if I catch my king, I'll get a straight and I'll beat him.
call. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
You can have that too. You don't win that.
Buttons moved over to Ramsey after winning that big pot.
I like Kev Matt's post here. Tip for Ed: play better. Stop griping about the commentators and just play better, and we'll talk about you better.
And what I was going to say was I was trying to sift around for that calculator. If you say that something's 80%, it's almost 50-50 if you say heads up, how many times is the 80% going to win all three.
Right.
They're actually favored slightly, 51%, and that's 80 to the third power. Basically,
Right.
you do
If
that.
you exactly. If you were to take pocket aces versus pocket fives and put them and basically throw them up against each other 3 times and put them in little baskets, I guess.
Yeah.
It's almost a coin flip.
Although the higher pair is a little bit more because I think they're even favored like 81 or something like that, 82.
Right. And when I say it's almost a coin flip in the sense that pocket aces are going to win all 3.
Right, exactly. If you did that matchup 10 times, chances are it's probably going to be 5-5.
Right.
10 times a set of threes. In a 3 set. Look at that, George flopped a set of threes there. Corporation Mike's going to be coming in the game, I believe, in seat 6.
I'll believe it when I see it. And Corporation Mike, the problem with the only thing with him, I was going to say he can run over the table. The problem is that the players at this table all know him pretty well
Yeah.
and adjust accordingly.
35.
George is going to make it 35 to go here. He's got ace-6 offsuit, and he's going to take it down, it looks like.
Yeah, you notice George has definitely loosened up a little
Yeah,
bit.
absolutely. He's the one that's trying to drive the table now.
Yeah. He's realized that he can kind of take advantage of it.
I mean, we haven't seen Nicole play a hand in a year over there now that she's moved over to seat 1.
Oh, I didn't even know she was there.
No, I
Oh, she moved. That's why I didn't know she was there. That was it.
It's open.
It's open. I just put it back.
Yeah, this is a very, very tight 5-10 table.
And we got another chip count here. Ollie there with 4,100 in chips. Russ with 3,000. He's actually rebought. He's having a pretty crappy night, actually. Nicole there, she's actually in 2 seats, and she's got $260 in both seats. Very impressive. Well, maybe if she plays 2 hands, she'll actually play.
2 hands at a time. She multi-table.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Pot is limped around here. Queen 5-9.
It's missed everybody.
Turns a jack.
Still missed everybody. David still has the best hand.
Ryan's going to throw out a bet here with a gut shot. And he's going to take it down, I'm sure. You ever been to Wisconsin before? GZ, Nicole?
Only for about... actually, no, I did. I went to Appleton.
Did you do some cow tipping?
I didn't go cow tipping in Wisconsin. I played hockey actually in Appleton.
Ah. I used to buy cheese curds sometimes when I go to Wisconsin.
My cards are
It's
following.
good.
Cheese curd.
Yeah.
Care where I
Good
People
to know.
from Wisconsin know about that and get them in Maine and Vermont too.
We're chopping. 3 players.
Three-way action here, limped around. Ooh, ace, ace, king.
do it.
George's got 2 pair here. Ace is up.
Gets checked around the turns of 4.
And George's in real good shape here.
River's at 10. Now George bets. And he's going to get called
Yeah.
by Ramsey. There you go.
King.
Little value bet.
King.
Take down that extra $20.
Yeah, this is one of those tables where I actually wouldn't mind. You know, at a real aggressive table, real tough players, there's no point in throwing a value bet in there because you might get check raised. Or you might
Right.
get raised, and then what do you do?
Right.
But at a table like this, where, you know, if you can kind of grind out a $30 or $40 hourly rate,
So you want the big
well
one?
done.
So you want the big one?
What?
You're the big one, so do you want that?
In 2 weeks I've been up online
Larry's big
and
one.
real line. I'm not complaining at all. Just online and real line. 10 times kings against aces in 2 weeks. Maybe I play a lot of hands.
And George is from North London, Dave. I believe the Enfield area.
Really?
Yeah. You familiar?
No.
He may be an Arsenal supporter. He's from North London.
I won't hold that against him.
Spot gets chopped
But I'm not.
around.
No, I'm not familiar with it. To be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with any area except like Denham Village, London.
Well, and yeah,
And that's pretty much it.
Northern London.
That's pretty much it. Generally, when I go, I'm spending the entire time in Denham Village, which is where her grandparents have a house. My wife, speaking of. Actually, the same village where her parents grew up. Melissa's parents grew up as well.
This one's gonna
And
get
it's
chopped
crazy
around.
here at the
Crazy
bike here.
action. Yep.
Obviously, we are live. We're unedited, unscripted. When normally when you watch tournament poker on TV, like World Poker Tour or World Series, they're editing it down and you're seeing this 8 or 10 best hands in a night. We are unique here because this is the first and only live webcast of a live cash game.
Taking a vacation.
We don't edit. We don't script it. And you're seeing every hand, so. Some nights are
Well,
phenomenal.
that's 3 in a row, Dave. What's the record on Live at the Bike? Is it 5? I remember one time.
Yeah, one of the reasons I don't chop.
What's that? Just so you can get the game going?
Well, it's just also a matter of I'm there to play poker, and it's also a matter of I told this a long time ago. I said
I hope you get
part of the reason of no limit poker is to play it heads up.
No.
You know, why would I want to chop it at that point?
We're playing short-handed. We've got 5-way action.
Yeah,
We're gonna
why
see
am I
straddle.
chopping it there?
Got a straddle there.
Live straddle.
And George is going to straddle it up there. There you go.
Yeah.
It's got an old Jackson 5 there.
From my last channel, didn't scare you?
You were telling me about a strategy about if you're playing three-handed straddling it always on the button.
Three-handed or four-handed, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Not on the button. Three-handed or four-handed, I always like the straddle, and I'll tell you why in a second.
How much?
40 more.
And it looked like seat 9 raised at 40 more. Ace-8 of diamonds. Ramsey's got queen 3 of spades.
Yeah, I don't think the raise is quite enough. Maybe it is. He got 2 people to fold.
Well, Ali's going to call where with 6-8. Now he's dominated. 6-8 of hearts. Deuce, deuce 4.
See if David continues.
Shut up, you and your dude.
Guess who had that?
That's 100. And Ali folds.
He takes it down.
All I do is call $60.
Yeah, one of the reasons in a three-handed or four-handed game, to me, you have to. If you don't straddle when you're given the opportunity to, you're crazy. One of the reasons is in a three-handed game, you're straddling on the button. Now, normally, if you don't straddle, you have to act first in the first round, pre-flop. But if you straddle, you get to act last not only pre-flop, but in every round.
Well, can you straddle heads up then, too?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I suppose you could.
I mean, wouldn't that change the
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do it, but I suppose you could.
Because heads up now, you have to act first when you're on the button in the first round.
Right.
So
like-
it changes things.
Yeah, I guess you could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But to me, if you're three-handed, why not straddle it if you're on the button? That way, you're basically playing for higher stakes when you have position, and lower stakes when you don't have position.
Jack 7-3 here on the flop.
Yes.
Limped around.
Check around.
Gets checked around. Nicole does not bet with top pair. Now she's probably going to bet.
Now, short-handed top pair, I don't care what your kicker is. You gotta.
Five-way action.
Yeah, five-way action. Top pairs. Any pair's big.
And he's... Well,
She can take it down.
David's gonna
Now, four-handed, the same theory, obviously. By straddling it four-handed, instead of acting first again,
Your first time.
you are forcing the button to actually act first. And oftentimes, if the button doesn't have a real hand, they'll throw it away, and now you're in position. You've basically stolen the button. So,
Did I miss it?
No, you can buy it.
Well, you can buy it next time. That's about it.
Got a limp over there by Ramsey.
What are you trying to tell everyone?
I don't know.
You have a bad hand?
And we are heads up. King 10
I
against
figured that out.
4-6 in the blind.
He's played every hand.
Ace King 9, couple of clubs.
When you say you play every hand, what do you mean?
Ramsey bets and
Your
Russell.
friend is wearing it. He wanted that hat?
Well,
I mean-
Total Bluff Doc asks, she's the lady that won the auction for the bombshell shirt.
Right.
Are we going to have another ladies' night again this week? And my answer to that is
I can't lie to you.
probably soon, but possibly not this week, Dave.
yeah.
More advertising for the
Well, we've got some other ideas planned for this
He's
week.
wearing it
Yeah.
too, the
He's
guy.
wearing it too. That's fine.
And this game here, this is one of those games where it's almost like everybody can just turn their cards face up.
Yeah.
This is one of those games that Doyle Brunson would actually say. He'd say that he'd literally, if he was playing in this game, he would play hands in late position and not even look at his cards.
Right.
He could just play the players and make money. A lot of money. Well, not a lot of money, but you could steadily win 30 here, 30
Because
there.
of his reading ability and just...
Yeah, well, these guys, you don't have to read any ability. They're betting if they have it. They don't bet if they don't have it.
10-8-6 here, a couple of clubs. It's checked around. Turn is an ace. Checked around again. Dave, what else is new? And the river's an ace. Looks like Ali has the best hand.
Queen high.
No, I don't fault Ollie there, because Ollie's in a spot where he doesn't have to bet.
Oh, wow. There's the
You know?
Almost.
Nice answer.
Or otherwise known as.
Thought my queen high was good.
You're playing
Tick,
loose
tick,
today,
tick,
huh?
tick, 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 tick.
Loose. Big blind, sir.
I seriously thought my queen high was good.
All right. I guess,
You know, we got some solid players in this game. None of them are really willing to give an inch.
Teases on it. They hate it.
Look at this, a new poster here. James 282 there on 2+2. We have a lot of time, like a night like this, to go to the board there, Dave. And he says, do we have any plans to spread a high limit game in the future? When is that? Well, that's on Wednesdays on our whale game.
Every
sponsored by
Wednesday.
Poker Blue.
Hi,
Could be 300, 600. Could be a restricted no limit hold'em game.
But would be a no limit with 50, 100 blinds.
Yeah.
300, 600, or 400, 800.
Ace King 3 here, a couple of clubs. George is going to bet here. He's got nothing, and Russ has got a flush draw, and he calls. Turns a queen. Look at this. George still, looks like he's still going to bluff at it here, Dave.
that was a quick pull, wasn't it?
He bets 125.
Now, this I'm going to just go into a hand here for a second.
Oh, and the river's an 8, so he makes something at the end.
Right.
And now he checks.
Got an 8.
And he's going to take it down
Yeah.
there.
Now, I'm going to throw something out here. I like the idea that George bluffed. But to me, you don't really want to bluff into a board like this, and it's the only reason why, and I'll throw an idea at you. If you bluff into a two-flush board,
But he would have back off. No wonder he's got the flush.
if somebody calls you, it's hard to know if you should continue bluffing or not because you don't know, is Russ calling me with a flush draw, or is he calling me with a weak ace, or any ace? Now, if there's no flush draw out there, and I bluff into it, and he calls me, well, then I know where he's at a little bit more.
Well, I was wondering if George didn't hit a pair there at the end, if he was going to bet again to knock Russ off of an accidental pair that he may have made while it's
Yeah.
on his flush draw.
I mean, obviously it's easy for us. We know that Russ is on a flush draw. But when you're at the table and you're bluffing into something and it's a scary board like that, you know.
And Matt's going to bring this one in for 35. He's got pocket kings. Cutoff's going to call with Jack 10 of spades. And George has got ace-5 offsuit. I'd be shocked if he called here.
Now, he's on the button, so he might play his button.
Wow, he is going to call. I'm shocked.
See, well, ace-5 I like better than ace-8.
Yeah.
Ace-5 can make a wheel. It's not the nut. Won't be a nut straight, but he can make a wheel.
Ramsey's going to call with a suited ace of clubs. And, wow.
And David's in there with Jack 7.
Yeah, $300 pot here. Ooh.
And Ali has flopped. Wow, he's flopped trips.
Deuce 10. Ali's got it. He's got ace deuce.
And that's the kind of flop, if I'm Nicole, I like the flop, and Nicole's going to go broke on this hand. I don't see her getting away from it.
You think she's got trouble sometimes getting rid of the overpairs? That's
actually
actually
a
Nicole's
tough
one.
Yeah, that's a really tough hand to get. I mean, normally that's the kind of flop you really want. It's a raised pot, and you're going, okay, good. If somebody has a 10, suddenly their Jack 10 is no good. The Jack, their 2 pair is no good.
And look at this. Yeah, there you go. Nicole's going to move all in, but she only got about 230 there, Dave. So.
Yeah, I just, there's no way. I mean, that's a tough hand to get away from.
It would have been interesting to see if she was deeper, what would have happened in the hand.
Oh,
if she ever could have gotten off the hand. And at these stakes, probably not, you want to say. It's just,
if she has anything less than $1,000, she's going to lose it. If she's got $15,000 in front of her, okay, maybe she can get away from it. But
obviously, Ali is going to quickly call here.
Call.
Yeah.
And the second he calls, she knows.
Like you got a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she
and
says.
she knows.
You have to double me up because I only have king, so I got to get a king.
So, like she said, she's going to need to spike a king here. Running 10s would chop it as well.
Yeah, I can't fault her play. I mean, she's only got $200. What is she going to do? Bet 50?
Yeah.
And then when he raises her, she's going to throw it away?
Yeah. Actually, running 10s actually would have won it for her. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ali's going to take it down.
Well, I still have 300 left.
And also, to follow up on that post, James282, he says, I love the Live the Bike concept, and I think there's a lot of potential. By the way, anybody know who these 2 announcers are? Nice to listen to poker announcers who have some clue about the strategy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dad. I appreciate
it. Well, thanks a lot for those warm words, James. It's nice to see you've joined the thread and hopped on the bike. And there happens to be 1 or 2 people on the 2+2 thread that might disagree with you with the announcer strategy comment, but I'm sure you'll hear with them in the next couple minutes.
Well, hey, that's the nature of poker, though. To me, that's what's great about poker. I can sit down and have a great conversation about the same exact hand, the same play, with 6 people that I respect and get 6 different answers.
Yeah.
And when I talk about Jive Dadson, I have nothing but respect for him. I mean, I don't really know him that well, obviously. But, hey, if I really want somebody just to agree with me all the time, I can call my mom. And I think we lost Nicole.
3 players.
She packed up her little black baggie and left. She's had enough.
We've got a couple of hands here. It was brought in for a $40 raise. Queen 6-6 on the flop.
Yeah. Not a terrible flop for Ramsey there. Only 1 overcard.
I believe that George had raised pre-flop.
Okay.
And he's hit it with the king-queen. And he bets. And now, like you said, Ramsey's in a tough spot here with pocket 8s.
Yeah.
Because George is willing to make a bet, a continuation bet with anything.
He would bet with anything here, without a doubt. He happened to hit his hand, though.
Obviously, there are several ways to play this hand. You could call here and raise with the intention of raising on the turn. You could raise here. You could fold here. He looks like he's going to choose to fold.
And that's one of those things where you can look at it and go, there's a lot of answers.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you've got to pick your spots. Is this a spot where I want to take a stand? Or can I just throw my hand away?
And George shows the queen.
Now, we also have a great high-limit game. It's a 10-20 no-limit game every Friday night. That if you were able to catch last Friday's show, we had a few pots over $10,000 and 1 pot that was probably about $24,000. And we usually get some great poker pros in that. Kenneth James, Ron Rose, Paul Darden, Kathy Liebert have all played in that game.
Well, I want to say, though, if you really are interested in coming in to play the Whale Night on Wednesday nights, you can most likely call the bike up and ask for Yosh Nakano, who's the high-limit host. I'm sure he'll have a seat for you.
And he will reserve a seat for you. And if you need, if you actually want Yosh's, if you want the contact information for the Bicycle Casino, just email us at live@thebike.com, or you can just go to thebike.com, obviously, and get the information.
I'm sure Yosh would love new blood in that game.
Of course he would.
Love it.
Pocket queens there for Hollywood, and pocket tens for George.
Looks like Russ just he made it 40 to go.
You can't fold.
Mo's gonna call, and George just smooth call with pocket.
What's
tens
up with
there.
Mo's just out of bed hair there?
Oh, a 10 right off.
Two tens.
Tens.
Quads.
George has got quads.
Wow.
And Russ is going to bet. This is one of these things where you hope a queen might come, but obviously a king on board. King's full of beats his queens anyways. But
Yeah.
100.
he bets 100.
And it's really difficult. It's hard to make a lot of money on this hand if you're George, because the king is going to scare him.
Yeah.
And the 10 is going to scare him. So it's
Like I said, if a king wasn't there and a queen were to come, it would be a great hand to make a lot
Yeah.
of money.
It's getting there.
you got to beg for a queen here.
Yeah, he smooth calls.
Russ, you got to remember.
And again, what is George going to smooth call with here in this
Well, that's what I'm
spot,
saying. I
you
mean,
know?
Russ is looking at it going, "There's nothing I can beat except
Yeah.
Queen Jack."
Trust and brain.
And I have 2 of the queens. And the turn is a 5. Again, I'd be shocked.
It might go check here. That's not a bad play by George.
Yeah, and that's what he
Give
does.
him one more
Check,
free
check.
card, see if he gets there.
Reverse a 3.
Check, and maybe throw in a $100 bet.
Yeah, and he's going to throw a $100 bet in here.
Wow.
Russ is going to throw a $100 bet in here.
Wow.
That 5 didn't help you. I don't think it's.
So how much do you raise here, Dave, for value? That's the
I
question.
go all in. I hope the guy has a 10. I hope the guy has a king.
Really?
Yeah.
150 more.
He's going to make it 150 more now. Russ is just going to fold immediately.
Exactly. It's one of those things where if the guy doesn't have
You
a
mean
big
you hope
hand-
he's got pocket kings, you mean, by moving all in,
something,
right?
or ace king, and he just doesn't want to lay it down.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if he doesn't have a hand, he can't call me no matter what. He can't even call a $5 raise.
So you almost want to make it look a little suspicious. We saw that with Ali in the big whale game last week. He actually took $1,600 from Kenneth James on the river by over betting the pot. I think he had trips. He made it, or he had flopped the full house or something, and he had made it look like he was on a busted flush draw. He bet $1,600 into a pot that was $400, and he got Kenna to call him with what was second paired to the board, pocket jacks.
Wow.
So
His calls, I'm not even going to turn them over.
Well, it's one of those things you just kind of hope the guy. I mean, maybe you're hoping he flopped pocket kings. I mean, obviously it's not likely.
right.
But if he doesn't have something on the board, if he doesn't have a big hand, he's not even going to call one raise. Russ isn't stupid.
Now Mo is raised here. He's got ace queen of diamonds, and he's going to get called by Hollywood Russ with king jack of diamonds.
Okay, so a royal straight flush probably won't come on the board.
No. But it'd be interesting to see if diamonds come.
No.
1 diamond.
But there's a queen. There's
Yeah.
Mo's outflopped him.
Yeah. And he bets.
Yeah, and he takes it.
And Russ mucks.
25.
And again, when you want to go heads up against someone, you'd like to go heads up where you think that you have some sort of expected value long term against that person heads up. And when you're playing against a player like Mo, I almost want to avoid him totally, because is he going to make a mistake where I'm going to win all of his chips? Probably not. If I were to play him heads up 50 times, am I going to have an edge, that much of an
No,
edge?
clearly not. Obviously,
You know,
he's not a guy you're looking to mix things up with.
Yeah.
Against Mo, though, I don't mind once in a while, because Mo will give you action.
Mhm.
If you make a big hand, he will give you action. Actually, he probably wouldn't give you action. I don't know if he'd give me action either. But he might give some other players action.
I'm definitely not as tied to some of these people on the table, Dave. Somehow you and Shirley have pegged me as Mr. Tidy Whitey. But I mean, I wear jockeys, but still, I'm not Tidy Whitey.
And Ratman138 wants to know, hypothetically, if he was sitting at the table and picking his nose, would the people operating the whole cam be able to see me? And now our technical staff, we've got a huge staff here. The person operating the cam would probably be able to see you. And there it is. Nice shot for you there.
Big monster.
There you go.
Yeah, they should. Maybe. He's got lambasted enough to.
Gonna read out some emails here that I haven't heard from these people
45.
ever, so I'd like to thanks for writing to us at Live at the Bike after this hand. Ace Queen there in seat 1. Mo raises it up. And David's got a weak ace, and he had limped in, and he's going to make the call, and he's in big trouble here, Dave. David's in big trouble, Dave.
Yeah.
Noise.
Oh, and look at this, Mo. I mean, I'd love to have Ace Queen sit down and flop a queen every single hand.
You don't do that? That doesn't happen for you?
And Mo said no ace, no ace. And he's going to take it down. So Ken here has said, all this slow playing is really making me sick. Seriously, I mean, I can understand why some people feel the need to slow play, but in general, it's just such a bad move. Just gives your opponent a cheap or free chance to catch up. And not only that, but it fails to get any more money in the pot when you're ahead. Tell Russ after the show he needs to start betting his hands, and he'll do a lot better. Well, I got to tell you,
Continue the
Ken,
quote. Continue. I want
well,
to
he
hear
says, every time someone slow played tonight, I've shaken my head and yelled at the monitor. Seriously. And I want to say, you are preaching to the choir, Ken.
I'm only wondering, Ken, what are you doing yelling at your monitor? Come on.
But you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched Live at the Bike here before, but believe me, we're with you.
There are times to slow play.
Yeah.
They're far and few between, but there are times to slow play.
Yeah.
Generally, you want to slow play to when you have pretty much an invincible hand, and your opponent, there's a good chance your opponent will catch up and make a good second best hand.
Right.
Otherwise, there's not much point in doing it.
100? 400.
Like in the case of the pocket tens there, I don't mind the slow play there.
Ramsey has flopped jacks and deuces, and Hollywood Russ is going to be in trouble here with King Queen. And he's going to move all in here. It looks like
It
maybe
is
for
just not his day.
330 more, and I'm sure Ramsey's going to call.
And Ramsey's pretty much whipped him all night there.
No, he had caught up with that Queen 9 hand.
Well, he's got outs. He's going to need a king.
He could pair
Right
the turn card as well.
Right.
So the turn's an 8, so of course he could pair the 8
8 or a king.
or a queen. And the river's a 7,
Or queen, thank you, sorry.
and Ramsey's going to win there with jacks up. Yeah, Hollywood Russ, man, he was up to, what was it, over 2,000 there, Evelyn? At one
He
point?
bought in for about 4,000 tonight. So.
Was he really? Wow.
Yeah.
He slowly just lost all his 3,000. He's down 3,000 for the night in a 5-10 game. And his style
So
isn't
that-
really necessarily indicative of losing a lot. He doesn't necessarily play a lot of hands.
I was going to say, actually, losing 3,000 in a game like we had Friday night is nothing.
Nothing. But
Because that
this
game was huge. Even though, but I've seen some 5-10 games
Right.
where losing 3,000 is nothing.
Right.
Because the money's really flying on the table. But in this game, to me, if you losing 3,000 in this game is like losing 3,000 in a 2040 limit
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, chips for long anyway. Oh, chips.
So just to clear up again some more confusion about the archives. Yes, the archives, you sign up for subscription, Dave. It's $14.95. It gets you over all of the action that we've done in
Wow,
the past.
it's still just $14.95?
Yeah,
50 cents a day?
1,500 hours.
Wow.
Of course, Live at the Bike is always free when it's live. But to see the past shows, it costs $14.95.
That's it. We gotta raise the price soon. This is crazy. $14.95 a month? I mean, we're talking about we've got probably 5 or 6 hours of Barry Greenstein teaching poker.
Yep.
We have Doyle Brunson, we have Kathy Lieber, we have
Greg
Ron
Raymer.
Rose, Greg Raymer, Paul Darden. Men the Master, Scotty Wynn. I mean,
Tim
the list
Pham.
goes on and on.
Yep.
Then there's a how-to play Hold'em video
Right.
by Howard Lederer. Not to mention Shirley Rosario, Bart Hansen, David Tuckman. God, still just $14.95 a month. It boggles the mind.
They're 50.
That PR class really did it well for you in college,
Yeah.
huh, Dave? Bo is bet 50 here with pot was limped around. He's got Jack 10 top pair and makes a.
No, but in
$50
all
bet.
seriousness, obviously that was a little over the top. But in all seriousness, it is a great deal. It's a great learning tool.
Yeah.
If you play poker seriously or for fun and you want to make some money, it definitely is a good learning tool.
Look at that, and Isaac won our home tournament.
Yeah, Isaac, I was asking Isaac, and in all seriousness, he goes, one of the things he had no real idea how to play Hold'em.
Yep.
But listening to us and Barry Greenstein and everybody else aforementioned, he said he's really learned a lot in the last 8 months.
Yep.
Not like it takes much to beat us, but funny. I came in today and I told our producer Evelyn that Isaac had won our home game. With me, you, Shirley there, and a couple others, and she thought that maybe Isaac should do the commentary.
Ah, yeah. He made a couple of all-in calls of stuff like Queen 10 suited. Got a little
Oh right, yeah, he was calling all in with Queen 10 and 6-4 and hitting.
You finished how much?
Yeah, he's trying to defend himself, but we won't give him the mic.
$40.
Ramsey's got Ace King of Hearts. He brings it in for $40.
And also they
Takes it down.
And he's going to take it down. And obviously, if this is one of the first times you've watched Live at the Bike, this has got to be one of the tightest games we've ever had. That's why you hear Dave and I bantering about.
Right.
I mean, there's I mean, if you were to watch any of last week's games, or watch tomorrow, or watch Wednesday, it just happens to be that because we're live, and now we're doing it 5 days a week, occasionally, once a month, we're going to have a tight game that's not...
No, hey,
you know,
exactly.
it's
This is a tight game. Nobody's really mixing it up too much, even though
Yeah.
Russ is down 3,000. You
Right.
can still learn a lot from watching this game.
Absolutely.
But usually it's a clue if you turn us on and you hear Bart and I talking about beer or cheese curd,
English food.
English food, the Jets, the Patriots, Chelsea, soccer, any of the aforementioned, it's usually a tighter game.
You were so wrong. If you saw
If you hear Bart screaming, though, well, then something real exciting is happening.
final turn, you would have been very, very
Four-way action here.
You got luck in the turn, I got luck in the river.
Deuce 3-8, limped around. Russell's got ace 8,
Ace jack beat on the clock.
and he bets $40.
No, you had a draw too.
And Dave, I got to tell you, on Friday night, you know, you almost couldn't hold back when that 10 came on the river to counterfeit kind of.
I couldn't hold back. That was crazy.
It's a 10. It's a 10.
Well, I mean, that was a $24,000 10. I mean, I think if you think
The
of cards,
plane is 10.
that was crazy.
Mo, you hear what he's threatening me.
What is
I don't know. I should be scared, but I kind of not.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
He says next time he's going to push all in on me.
What's that little guy's name from Treasure Island?
It's
Fantasy Island, excuse me. Fantasy Island, not Treasure Island. Fantasy Island.
that's right.
What's his name?
Tattoo.
Tattoo. Is that his name? What's his real name? Hervé Village. Yeah, there you go. It's your turn. It's your turn.
I just want to say hi. I'm going to say hi one more time just in case my wife was not watching before. But I want to say hi to her in Hawaii. Hey, babe. How you doing? And hello to the rest of her family. And my family. See you guys soon. I can't wait. Friday, I fly to Hawaii.
Going to the Big Island?
Oahu. Just for
I was in Maui.
very quick little 3-night trip there. I'm actually flying back on Monday.
Yeah, this Mo has got 7-10 off suit. Does not play. Now, Russ has got King Queen. He's going to bring it in. 25. George has got a suited ace. And actually, Russ has got 7-9 off suit. Ryan's got the King Queen. He calls. We're going to see three-way action. $75 pot to the flop.
How many flops have we seen? Like 4 deuce deuce tonight.
Well, that's another one. Well, Russ is not going to continue to bet. The turn's a queen.
We should break out the rig deck.
That gives Ryan the best hand, and he's going to bet.
60.
He bets 60.
See, if you're Russ, why not take a stab at it on the button?
I
probably
think,
could take
I
it
think
down.
that he normally would have, Dave, but it's one of those things where it kind of changes your game up when you've been losing.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't feel that you've got the same table image. You've
Well,
been
some
running
people,
bad.
yeah, no, I know. Some people, will go home and go, oh, I lost so much money. It was bad beats, and obviously he got a bad beat when he caught a jack on the river there when he had queens.
Yeah.
He queens full on the flop. But if you let it affect your style of play, like in that case, where it's a clear bet to me on the flop.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, you might as well just go home, come back refreshed for another day.
I'm looking at this big October schedule. Again, like we said, October 6th, the Tony Curelle No Limit Mexican Poker Open. It's $100 buy-in. Do you think someone like Jesus or Diablo have time for something like that?
I'm actually going to play in that.
Oh, yeah?
What day is it?
It's Thursday, October 6th.
Maybe I can get Shirley to go do the commentary for me. 'Cause I would love to play a Mexican Poker
Man, I
Open.
just wanted to test out my theory.
Pot is limped around here. Queen, 5, Jack, all clubs.
Ramsey's got the flush.
Yeah, it's got a small flush.
Ramsey's got the flush. Nobody else has a club in their hand even.
He's going to bet 300, Dave. Well, that's over betting the pot there for you. Into a $50 pot.
He's betting 300.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, even if I had the net flush, I don't think I would call that for some reason.
Okay.
Upset, I think on my lane.
No slow playing Ramsey, huh?
I've got to run around the street.
Now I see on Friday, September 30th, there's an Omaha
October
High-Low
30th.
tournament that you will not.
Oh,
be
September
playing.
30th.
Yeah, next Friday.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to play.
But on Saturday, an interesting tournament here. Saturday, October 1st, there's a no-limit hold'em tournament with multi-rebuys, $200 tournament. Tournaments all start at 4:15 p.m. daily.
35,000.
And on Sunday, October 2nd, there's a No Limit Hold'em shootout. I know Shirley likes to play those shootouts, $300 buy-in. If you're interested in playing any of these tournaments, you can go to thebike.com, click on tournament schedule, and check it out. You can even register online if you'd like. We also have one table satellites daily, 11 a.m. to 3:15, and in the evening as well, from 6:45 to midnight.
Six-way action here, limped around. Couple of 5s and a 6. Ooh, 2 people have pocket 4s here. Seat number 4 and seat 9. And Russ is going to bet here with a 6. He bets $40. And he has the best hand, it looks like. And let's see. No, David's not going to fool around. That's funny because David was playing pretty loose in the beginning of the show, and then he's just kind of seemed to tighten up. Dave, let me ask you this question. I'll read this, and you can take it away. Chester on 2+2 writes, often it seems like you guys promote raising or checking, or raising or check raising with a 4 flush on the flop. However, in a loose game, if there's very little chance of getting 1 or 2 opponents to fold, is there positive expectation? Also, if it doesn't hit and you check on 4th Street, then you're displaying super weakness.
Oh, I see what you mean. He's saying either betting or raising if you have a 4 flush on a flop.
Okay.
Actually, usually Bart promotes betting on a 4 flush. Let's say there's 3. You mean 3 clubs or 4 clubs on the board? I'm assuming that he's talking about.
I assume meaning with a standard flush draw if you have a 4 flush on the pop. But we'll get to that after the hand. There was a raise and a call there. 5-10 against 7-10. Flop comes Jack 8 deuce. David checks. See if George takes a... No, George does not bet. Turn is a jack. And now George is going to bet.
Yeah, George is the only one here that's actually putting any money in without a hand.
And he folds.
And I'm looking a little beleaguered, a little strangely at the question because I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure we promote that or not. I guess, but most of these questions, when you're asking a poker question, most times is pretty much the answer is depends.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Obviously, it depends on the table.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're trying to do. Are you check raising or raising to get somebody to fold?
Well, when he says in a loose game, there's very little chance of somebody or 1 or 2 opponents folding. Well, if I've got a 4 flush in position and I raise big, there's probably a pretty good chance that someone's going to fold if I raise the pot.
Right. Well, if I know my opponents aren't going to fold,
right.
Well, then it comes down to thinking, okay, well, is my hand the best hand? And if it's not the best hand, how many outs do I have to make the best hand?
Right.
And then it's also a question of, okay, well, and if I make my hand, am I going to get paid?
Everybody checks this flop. The turn's a jack. Well, Ali's got a gut shot, straight flush draw, and straight draw.
35.
And now Russ bets. And I would say this is a perfect time to raise here, Dave, wouldn't you?
Okay, now I see what you mean. This would be, I guess this is actually a question here for Chester.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, this is one of the reasons why I like the raise here.
Well, the board is paired. That's a big reason why.
Well, the reason I like the bet here is the raise here, actually, and I'll tell you in a second.
And the river's a 6, and David had stuck around with ace-3. And Russ had nothing, and David, if there's no betting, he's going to have the best hand here in early position with ace-3. Wow. See if Russ fires another bullet. He tried to bluff at it at the turn. And I think it's just going to get checked down here, Dave.
It does.
Ace-3's good. Wow.
Now, okay, the reason I love the check raise there, not the check raise, just the raise by Ali.
Yeah.
On there, he obviously has 4 flush, plus he's got a straight flush draw. Now, this case here, we're playing a pretty tight table where nobody is calling raises, okay? Ali's table image is pretty tight.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's raising, he probably has something. There was also no bet on the flop, okay? And when Russ fires at it, he definitely could be betting on just some sort of draw or just trying to steal the pot away.
Yeah.
And if you raise there, you can easily represent a jack or a queen. So in that one situation, I would definitely like to see a raise.
Well, I think the reason why that you would also raise there in that spot is just because it's so scary because anyone without a jack is not going to call. Now, you might say, well, do you fear the re-raise if someone's sandbagging?
Then you throw it away.
Then you throw it away.
Right.
But in that spot, you can easily represent a jack.
Right. Well, generally speaking, I mean, I'll tell you right now, 80% of the time, it is correct to raise or fold.
Right.
And not correct to call. Now, obviously, there are a few occasions where, and like I said, probably 20, 25% of the time, it is right to call. But if your hand is the best hand, why not raise it?
Now, Russ has raised here. He's made it 125 to go with pocket 8. Now, if you pick up on a betting pattern of Russ, he seems to raise big with these mid-pocket pairs. Doesn't raise that much with aces and kings. So you might put him on 8s, 9s, 10s, or even jacks here. Now, Mo's got king-jack. Let's see what he does with it. He's out of position, and he's going to fold.
He's right away.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, let's say this table were a much looser table where if Ali makes that same play, if Ali raises it, he knows he's going to get called.
He gets called by ace-3.
Right, he knows he's going to get called by ace-3.
Right.
Well, in that case, you might just choose to, if you're draw, then you've got to kind of add it up and go, okay, do I have enough outs? Do I have the odds to call?
Right.
And if you do, okay, go ahead and call. If you don't, you can throw your hand away. You know?
He came second in the end, yeah.
Because you kind of got to look at it and go, am I going to get paid big if I hit my hand anyway?
Right.
Not good for me. I got no
Too often people, like, they'll call for these, like, insane draws, like a gut shot, or they'll call a big bet to, like, hit their flush or something without thinking, is the player I'm playing against stupid enough to actually pay me if I hit my hand?
I know, but I think you won. 5 players.
George limped in here with ace-queen, and we're going to see five-way action limped around.
Well, it's okay to limp in if you're going to get away from it now.
That's 50.
Seat 9 has ace-8, and Ramsey,
Russ-
he's got 8-10, and Russ bets.
Well, he's got an open-ended straight draw here, and he's going to bet it straight out. He figured there's a good chance it missed everybody. Why not take a shot at it?
Now, Ramsey calls in between, and look at this. David's going to raise with the ace-8.
I like the raise here. See where he's at.
150 total.
He raises it to 150.
If somebody has
Look
six,
at Russ shake his head.
if somebody has 6-7, he'll find out right away.
So you like that raise as opposed to just smooth calling with ace-8.
Well, because the problem with calling with ace-8 is what if a jack comes on the turn?
Right.
Or a queen comes on the turn? Then where are you?
Looks like he's eating a quesadilla there.
I mean, I also wouldn't mind the fold, but you got to look at it. I just don't like. I personally just don't like too many calls.
Right. You like to tell people they're starting out in this game normally raise or fold as opposed to call.
Yeah, and if you look at most books,
Yeah.
and you ask most professionals, they'll generally tell you raise or fold, be aggressive, play aggressive.
Boy, that food looks good there, Dave. Some guacamole and some sour cream.
That does look good. I would love some. Ooh, a steak quesadilla. I wonder if that's an Angus steak.
Carne asada.
Maybe Kobe beef.
I think you're stretching it there.
And what was the original bet by Russ? 50?
Yeah, and he made it.
Okay, so we're looking at about a $300 pot now, 150 to call. But once again, Russ knows that he's only getting one card because David will probably bet the.
Well, again, look at his straight too. If a 7 comes, anyone with a 6 has a straight as well.
Yeah, he might be drawing dead. I mean,
Yeah.
David could have 6-7 right now.
Now Ramsey, he's got 8-10. He's got backdoor diamonds, but he's obviously does not have the best hand out here either.
Yeah, and the button is in seat 1 here, so
David's
David's got
raising
position on him the whole way. So it's tough. I mean, even if a blank comes on the turn, Ramsey's got to check again. So, and once again, the way this game is played, it's pretty straightforward. You got to put David in a real hands.
And he lets it go. David's going to take it down.
And Shady Poker's question, it was asked a question between, she was asking, I guess he or she, I don't know, was asking what happened between Kenna, and actually it was Barry Woods, not James Woods. And if you want it full detail, I don't want to get into it totally. I actually described it. If you go to the official Live at the Bike thread, and you check out 9/16, September 16th,
Yeah.
it's on the bottom of that thread in full description.
I'm sure that someone has already beated you by posting the link up to your
I'm sure.
your thing there.
I'm sure.
Which I'm sure will quickly appear on the post.
We got some more money on the table than we had before.
Yeah, Ali's got 4,400. And
Looks like about $20,000 total. Maybe
Mo's
not
got
quite.
1,600. Pocket aces over there in seat 3. He's in the small
Ryan's
blind.
picked up aces like 3 times, hasn't he?
Did he just limp from the small blind, Dave? Oh, my. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, he limped from the small blind. And now the flop comes 7, 7, 8, couple of clubs. And Ramsey's got a flush draw. He bets 50.
Wait, Ryan checked it.
He checked it out of the small blind with aces. That's what I was saying.
Wow.
And he's going to call. I mean, where you at now?
I got to be honest at this point. I mean, I would never play the hand this way, but if I'm going to play it this way, I almost just muck already. Just give him the pot. I don't even want it.
You don't even want to get involved. Well,
I have no idea where he's at.
Ramsey checks behind him. He's picked up a straight draw as well, and now a 7 comes on the river. So Ryan actually escapes.
Yeah, he's got to know he's good now.
Boy, that's one for that emailer there for you, Dave. Checking out of the small blind or completing with 4 people in with aces.
Yeah, why would I want to do that? I want to put no money in the pot and then play aces out of the worst position possible. So I have to act first with them every time.
150.
He bets 150 here on the river.
Yeah, I think he's kind of hoping. He's hoping that Ramsey has an 8. And then he calls. He kind of dismisses the fact that he has a 7, obviously. Hoping he has an 8 and gets a call, but obviously he does not. Ramsey can either fold or raise. That's pretty much it.
Does the big debate thin out the field versus Mike Carroll's point of view, play into this hand, Dave? Where Mike Carroll say, well, I want many people in with aces? I'm just asking you this.
I do want many people in, but I want many people in at my price.
Exactly. Not at
free.
At a limped price, right?
I just don't get any. By limping in the small blind, I get no information.
Yeah.
The guy's limping in could be limping in with 7-3. A guy in the big blind could have any hand possible.
Yeah.
I just get no information.
Oh, look at that. A familiar face. Alan's coming into seat 5.
Alan. And I want to say hi to Alan. Alan actually, I've become very friendly with Alan. Alan's actually going to be doing my home theater system. He's putting in my surround sound.
He installs audio?
That's what he does it actually for big companies.
Yeah.
And usually his minimum contract is like $200,000.
Really?
So I had him come over to the house, and I'm like, how about like $2,000?
Yeah.
But nice guy. He's actually going to put in my surround sound system and mount up my plasma TV.
That table was a cold table, no action, no nothing. That's what I left. Because they didn't scan it last time.
And we're going to see limped action here. 3 ways.
3 players.
Well, Alan has ace-5 of spades here in the big blind.
Well, a couple of draws out there, and he's got a spade draw.
Well, George is going to bet here on top pair.
And Ramsey's open-ended.
Yep. George bets. Alan's going to call, it looks like. And let's see what Ramsey does. Ramsey's going to call. Yeah, Ramsey's hand would become really big if he picks up a heart draw here on the turn.
Yep.
Oh, the turn's a 7, and there's the flush for Alan.
And now they're all drawing dead. And Alan's trying to count out the pot, see what it is in there, and he's going to bet the pot.
125.
Yeah, he bets 125.
Now, this is if you're Ramsey, you got to get out of this hand now.
Well, if George makes this call, this is a great example of what we talk about, why Alan would bet the nut flush here on the turn, as opposed to checking behind it and maybe letting another dangerous card come on the river.
Well, yeah. Well, when George checks when the flush card comes and George checks it,
Yeah.
he's inducing this bluff. It's obviously not a bluff, but I'm saying he induces it.
Let me steal it. Let me steal it.
But let's see if George can get away from it pretty easily. Now, let's see if he gets a read on Alan that Alan has it or not. He's going to throw it away.
He's going to throw it away. He shows the 10 of spades there.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, George isn't necessarily the type of person that would fire a bullet if the deuce pairs on the river. If a red deuce comes on the river, he's not necessarily someone who's going to bet into the river if Alan had checked the turn there anyway. So
there's no real chance of Alan making any real money on that hand. Maybe,
but against other people that call a lot, I really like the bet there on the turn.
Without a doubt.
And again, it's not that your hand isn't good enough to slow play because you're scared of it. Obviously, everyone's drawing dead, but it's the fact that a card will come that could kill all of the action, obviously, in the hand.
$50.
$50 raise there by Mo. Mo's got 3-4 offsuit. Mixing it up a bit. And Russ Hollywood's going to call with ace-9 of diamonds.
3 players.
And C6, we got Tony there. Big Tony. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Uh-oh. Alan with the queen 8 is flop trip 8s.
I don't know. He called me someone.
but nobody's got anything.
But Mo's going to throw a continuation bet in there. He bets 115, and there's just no way Mo's going to lose any money on this hand, Dave.
Well,
any more money.
any more
besides
money.
this.
He's going to lose 150.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, once Allen calls here.
I raise.
Oh, he's going to check raise.
By playing things fast, you also kind of, you give some credence to when you bluff also.
Yep.
You know? If you always slow play your big hands and then you bet out when you try to...
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Touch here.
Touch Look at his face.
Man, you're gonna give him.
Man, Mo did the little fake throw the $100 chips in there, but this is just for
It's
TV.
already in the pot, okay?
Yeah. All right.
900. All right?
All right. Roll it, man. Roll it back.
Look at this. Mo's trying to get a read on Allen.
You know, you can do that.
Mo's just playing. He's not trying to get anything.
He's doing it really good. Yeah.
Look at this.
He's got 4 high.
This guy is...
Well, he said if it rolls in, it's 900 more there, Allen. And he's looking at him.
Yeah, look, but as he tries to roll it in, he's going to use his left finger and kind of push it to the side. Watch. Make sure it doesn't roll in.
I'm laying down the big card.
It's kind of like it's kind of
And
like
Mo shows the
yeah,
four
it's
face.
kind of like hedging your bet. It's the you know, indecent proposal thing when Robert Redford says he gives you the coin and says, okay, heads or tails,
Even you have 5 high.
you know, and it's of course it's both sides are heads.
See? Oh man, you were gonna make my day if you bet, if you raise me. You were gonna make my day.
I'm going to see it next 2 days.
And Mo says, I'm going to see it because he's a subscriber to the archives, Dave.
I changed my style. You may not know what I'm doing.
Guarantee you didn't have an 8.
David says I've been watching Gal all the time.
To me, watching if you are a frequent player in this game and you're not watching, you're crazy. I think. And to me, if you play any game that's similar to this and you play No Limit Hold'em, you should be watching this. It's such a great learning tool. A couple people have second pair. Nobody's got a king, though.
And Russ has bet on second pair. He's bet $60.
Oh, actually, I thought it was a king 10-5. Only one person has an 8. I'm sorry. Ramsey there with bottom pair.
Action is on Allen here. I don't know what he's thinking.
He's got a gut
Got
shot.
a gut shot.
I like to see the
Well, he's going to call.
And he said he's playing his rush.
No, it's just a marked difference again. You know, if he were to raise here, Dave, obviously we can see the cards. He would probably take it down. Now he doesn't have a draw. The turn is a 3.
It's generally why most often raising is better than just...
Yeah, calling.
Because you forget, some people go, yeah, but if I raise, you forget that you don't have to be right that often. You know, in the sense of the other guy only has 2, you know, second pair or bottom pair even. You don't have to be right that often to make it a correct play.
And Russ bets 100 here.
Of course.
And
Now
Allen
Russ
folds.
bets and Allen folds.
And that's why I was thinking to myself, and I didn't say it last hand. What if Mo had aces that hand against Queen 8-8? If Allen check raises there, I still think Mo just gets away from it because Allen isn't prone to raise unless he really has the goods. You know?
Yeah, although I got to tell you, Allen has changed his game up in the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
In the sense of, I mean, from what we normally see, I still think he calls way too much.
Yeah.
Like with a gut shot.
Right.
But he plays. I mean, he will make a play once in a while.
900. I was all in.
Ali over there in seat 8, he's got ace king offsuit, big slick offsuit.
You know, we've got to push for some of our heavy hitters to come in a little earlier. Obviously, our webcast starts at 6 o'clock out in L.A., and some of our biggest players don't actually come into the casino until about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I was here last night. I was actually here, and I left at 1 in the morning, and the 10-20 game was just getting good.
50.
10-8-3, and Allen's in position. He's going to bet top pair.
I mean, that was a hand where he used to check a while ago.
Well, I still question a little bit the pre-flop limp, but...
Oh, no,
best
without a
hand.
doubt. But if you're going to be in there and everybody checks to you, why not bet it?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't bluff. You know that. Never bluff.
Well, Sykes on 2+2 has said, Bart and David, what are the chances of having a small-time limit game going on the show, like 3-6, 5-10? Well, we don't necessarily have a 5-10 game here, Dave, but we've done 8-16 in the past, and word is that we may be doing that game again shortly.
Yeah, we definitely will. Now that we have 5 days a week,
Yeah.
you're going to be seeing big-time no limit, the whale game. You'll be seeing like the middle no limit like this one.
Right.
And we'll definitely be having, sometimes we'll have a 30-60 limit game, and sometimes we'll have 3-6 limit.
Look at this, Mo. He raised out of the under the gun with 7-9 suited, and David's called him with ace queen, and David flops a full house, and Mo has a flush draw.
Yeah, now this might be a time, obviously we see that Mo has a flush draw, but this might be a time, why not go ahead, let him bet into you.
It's a $105 bet here. Yeah, and David
Yeah, there's
says
no
call.
urgency in raising there.
Yeah. Now, the problem for Mo here is if the heart comes, he's going to be in big trouble. Obviously.
Exactly, and that's the reason, David,
Yeah.
there is a draw out there.
Well, the turn's a 6. And
We're
obviously-
also hoping that maybe Mo has an ace.
And Mo checks right behind him. Oh, and the river's a queen. No,
Oh, I actually thought I thought David had position on him.
no. David was in
He
first.
bets 100. Can Mo call with his pair of aces, pair of queens, and a 9 high?
120 there.
I actually thought that David had position on him.
I mean, if Mo catches a heart there on the river, I think all the money goes in, right?
Yeah.
David's got 1,000. I mean, it's going to go all in.
Exactly.
I mean, Mo doesn't have the highest flush, but you're heads up against the guy. I mean,
And if you push, obviously you're not getting. And you're hoping, you might even be hoping that either Mo has an ace, obviously, or Mo maybe has like, I want to say maybe King 10 or something
Now,
like that. And
the interesting thing about
hits
that
straight.
play, obviously, if you don't know that Mo is on a flush draw, if the river comes heart, do you check it again and try to induce a bluff, or is that an action killer, or do you want to bet it and hope that you get a call with something like an ace or pocket kings? Now, it's probably not an ace because Mo checked the turn.
Right.
But do you want to get a call with a queen?
Yeah, when you're out of position, it's like everything is tougher out of position.
Right.
I'd probably bet it.
Tend to bet it.
I'd probably bet it.
Yeah.
Trying to represent the flush and hope that he has it.
3 players.
Three-way action.
I'm not a big fan of check racing on the river.
No.
With the nuts.
King deuce 3, couple of diamonds.
Russ has got the flush draw. He's got to bet it.
Bet 30.
Hasn't been Hollywood's night here. Hollywood's a local pro and not doing well tonight, though.
No, he has to have ace king or ace queen to make a jackpot. Both cards has to play. I knew that. I mean, I was watching for the one. He has to have ace queen or ace king. Oh, it was the card. No change. No, everything is.
Look at this. Jive Dad's on 2+2. He's giving you a little speaker information, Dave. Speaker advice. Home audio advice.
Thank you. I appreciate
From the
that.
old no-limit 5-card draw player.
Hey, Jive, I really do appreciate that. I'm actually I will click on that link that you sent me. And actually, if you could do me a favor, Jive, and actually send that to my private, PM me with that one, that would be super. And I'll check it out.
You wonder how many guys know about home audio who play no-limit 5-card draw high.
I would assume a lot.
Yeah.
Well, at least 100% in my books. I only know one guy that plays the game.
yeah.
And he knows home audio. So hey, I'll take any advice. I'm a home audio idiot. I just want to give the guy a couple $1,000 and hope he can put something decent in my house. I actually have a hearing problem anyway.
Oh, you do?
I have a slight hearing loss in both ears. So to me, it doesn't really make a difference.
Is that why when I'm always calling your name after I see you walking away from a tournament, I thought you were just ignoring me?
Oh, I'm just ignoring. It's a convenient hearing
Dave, what
problem.
happened? What happened? Like, you see him just walk away.
I need my money. I'm gonna come there. I'm gonna call all the way.
Once again, we are live at the Bike, having a good time here at the Bicycle Casino in Bell Gardens, California. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 5 and 10.
And we got a family pot here, 6 ways, and it was raised, I believe, $40 or $50 pre-flop.
Yeah, David's got the best hand right now with King, Queen Kicker.
It's about a $200 pot.
Yeah, Mo's got a flush draw.
Well, Dave bets 100.
Mo gonna call this flush draw?
125 here.
The pot is how much here?
Well, the pot is now about 350 or 325, and Mo makes the call. So now the pot's about 450.
100% we gonna lose.
Doesn't even think about it, Mo, there.
Okay, 2 players.
So
Two
here we
players,
go,
yeah.
heads up. And there's the club, Dave.
Yep. Now, that's actually a pretty scary card. It's also the ace.
Check, check. And the river is a deuce. And now, there's a great example of an action killer. Mo may not get a call here.
No, yeah. Out of all the clubs to hit, the ace of clubs is the worst card. He tried to check raise,
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
And the river was a club. Which is
And
a
Mo,
hard
and
card.
Mo, to be honest with you, I didn't really like the call on the flop by Mo there. I know we usually praise Mo's play, but he called there
There's a guy.
and ended up paying $100 and didn't even get paid off.
Right, right.
There's a guy.
And this is one of those tables where I really don't want to go for draws that are obvious because
Believe me, it killed me at the
you're just not going to get paid off at this
Oh,
table.
we believe you. That's the funny thing.
I got killed at the
I
river.
we know. Where else you bet like 100?
One good reason why we should leave. I'm raising. Raise it.
How much?
I want everybody to call.
I got killed at the river.
Got a lot of queens in there out there. I see ace queen, king queen, jack queen.
Get your wish, man.
Seed 7 there. That's
Ramsey.
Ramsey. He makes it 25 to go. He's got ace queen. Got called by king queen. Queen jack calls. And pocket fives. And look at that. Ace queen deuce. Incredible. Ace queen.
I mean, some people look at that flop and go, wow, what a great flop for ace queen. It's not really a great flop for ace queen. A much better flop would be queen deuce deuce. Right? Because he's not going to make any money on this flop. If the ace doesn't
Yeah,
hit,
especially
though,
if you were against king queen and queen jack.
well, he was,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
He makes some good money if it's a queen deuce
Yeah,
deuce.
the ace kills all the
I mean, the
action
case
there.
queen, which is great, but the ace kills the action.
And he's going to bet it. I'm sure he's going to take it down. You know, what's wrong with Bose anyways? I thought that was supposed to be like a top-of-the-line thing. I don't know much about home audio either, but...
Yeah, I mean, from what I hear, you're paying for the name.
Oh, is that what it is?
There's a lot better. Actually, Alan came over and showed me online some of his great systems.
Oh, yeah.
$100,000 for a speaker here, $100,000 for a speaker there.
Of course, in the Boston area, they had a place called Cambridge Soundworks, so it was always nice. I don't know if they have that around here, or you can buy it online.
Thank you.
But I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Last straddle.
I'm actually kind of psyched. My mother-in-law is actually on the nominating committee for the Oscars.
Oh, okay.
She nominates for the Oscars and votes for the Oscars.
So she gets
She
those
gets all the-
4-year consideration movies, like before
She
they
gets
get movies?
all the 4 consideration
Yeah.
movies. So as a result, I get to watch them all.
Yeah, that's
I mean, literally before the movies even come out.
Yeah.
I'm getting DVDs of them, and we figured we've got a 42-inch plasma. We might as well have kind
Do you
of a
get
great
like every
surround-
movie then?
Every
pretty much?
movie.
So you never go to the movies?
No, we still go to the movies because occasionally you want to see, like,
In a theater.
I'll give you an example, like a Braveheart or
Right.
something.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see that on the big screen, you know. Get a raise here. Straddle here.
Thanks for your education on the world of audio, the wonderful and exciting world of audio.
$100. Easy, right there.
5-way action here. It was straddled, so it's a $100 pot. King 9-8, couple of diamonds. Alan's got top pair. Ryan has top pair. And Alan's going to bet it with the king.
I see finally Russ McGinley has finally posted something on 2+2. Where have you been, Russ? It's Russ's world. We only just live in it.
Ryan calls.
Maybe.
You know, I want to go so far as to say I have not seen Ryan raise yet one time tonight, Dave. One time. Even with the aces pre-flop. Jack on the turn.
The only time he didn't limp re-raise with the aces.
That's right. That's
all
right.
in.
That's right. And now he's checked again with King 10. And the river is an ace.
He's gotten there. He's
Yeah,
not
he's
going to
got
make
the
any
straight.
money, though.
How do you not bet the end?
He didn't bet the end with the nuts.
He didn't bet the end with the nuts. How do you not bet with the 10 there?
Trying to induce a bluff.
When an ace comes on the river?
You bet 200 before the
I'm not sure what you want me to
It's
say.
amazing. Yeah, I just... I mean, inducing a bluff when a scare card comes on the river?
Yeah.
I mean, when obviously a guy could have bet with a king and then would be scared and shut down, I mean, top pair there, obviously. We'll never know, I guess.
Yeah, no, but back to the audio thing. I'm actually kind of lucky. It's kind of cool. We get all these movies, the DVDs, and so I want to have a proper, surround system so I can really have kind of a movie net at my house and watch them all. But it's kind of cool. I'm actually a member of SAG, so I get to see the SAG-nominated movies for free anyway.
Right.
So.
For the SAG Awards, right?
Yes. SAG, for anybody who doesn't know, SAG is the Screen Actors Guild.
I think I'm a member of AFTRA, David.
Are you?
Yeah. It was a couple hours short on my SAG card.
There you
SAG
go.
eligible or something like that.
Is there an internet-based union? There should be. We should start one.
We should be in it.
Start a union.
Yep.
What would happen if we went on strike? Nobody would miss us, would they?
Jack 10 against
Everything would
King
just go
Jack.
on.
Russ raised with Jack 10.
Russ
And he
is-
swapped a straight.
How's that?
But Allen's got King Jack, so he has outs. He could catch a higher straight if a 10 were to come.
Yeah.
Almost the same.
And both players check. Another slow play. Oh, it's a 9 on the turn, Dave. I thought it was a 10. Is Russ going to put any money in here? Now he's going to bet.
100.
He bets 100.
Now, if you're playing against Russ, okay, for anybody watching at home, if you're playing against Russ, tell me if I'm crazy. If Russ ever bets on the flop,
He's
probably
probably
would have,
not comfortable with his hand.
No, he probably has top
Or he could
pair,
have top pair,
or
yeah.
a flush draw, or a
Right.
straight draw,
Right.
but something not really strong.
Right.
Because if he ever has a strong hand, he'll never check it. He'll always check it. I mean.
Well, he'll never bet it. You mean.
He'll never
Even in
bet it,
position,
exactly.
Apparently. It's strange.
So
Played on the flop because if I can,
it never sets up a bluff for later on.
Yeah.
To me, if you're always betting your hands, Barry Greenstein says you raise the same amount each time.
Right.
And if you bet your hands strong, Doyle Brunson says this in Super System 1. He actually says check raising is generally a pretty weak play.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer to bet right into the raiser, hope that he re-raises me, and then I'll move in.
Here's another chip count here. Ali's still pudging along there with 4,400.
Pudging.
Moe's increased his chip stack to 4,000.
I like pudging.
And Ramsey's got about 1,200 there. And Hollywood Russ, he's back down to 850 again. Wow. What did he rebuy for?
1,000 only.
1,000.
And he rebought for 1,000, so.
Okay.
How you doing? Good?
Limp.
Cat,
This table's loosened up quite a bit here.
how are you? Can you give me a Heineken?
Oh, Moe's buying a Heineken? Wow.
Oh, it's for someone?
Oh, he's going to buy it for, so he always
Yeah.
buys somebody
Okay,
a drink
send
at
me
the
for
table.
Corona.
4-3 deuce here.
That is free
Yep.
already.
A couple people have threes, and got a player in there with ace 4.
And Allen's got a 5. Allen's got 5-6, actually.
Allen's flopped a straight. George has top pair with an open
Actually,
and a straight draw.
Allen has 5-9.
Oh, he's got 5-9.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a difference.
But George has got 5-4.
Popular guy in England for a while.
Slight difference.
Yeah, he's in
5-6,
position.
5-9, no big difference. There we go.
He's in position.
But George has got top pair with the open-ended.
Yeah. Let's see what he does with it. I believe someone has bet from up front.
Looks like Tony's bet, actually.
Was it Tony? No, not
Or
Tony.
Ramsey,
David,
maybe.
I believe. Oh,
Was it David?
Oh, maybe it was Ramsey.
My girlfriend is watching.
Maybe it was Ali, seat 8. There we go. It's like,
Ali bet with the
we'll
ace
just
4.
guess each one until we get it right.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I
Ali
believe it was
bet
a
with top
$60
pair.
bet.
Ali actually had the best hand. And oh, wow, this is
Oh,
trip
the
fours.
turns of 4.
The
and that
case
gives
4.
Ali ace 4. David's got a flush draw over there in seat
George
9.
has got trip 4s, too, with
Oh,
the 5.
wow. Ali bets 3,000, Dave. I'm getting word. Are those $1,000 chips he's bet?
And the pot is how big?
The pot is about 800. And now George,
Well, you
Ali's
know
bet
what?
3,000.
The board is so scary. Ali knows somebody has a 5, and he knows somebody has
Yep,
hearts, and he doesn't want
3,000.
anybody to draw.
And now what does George do with 4-5?
Wow. Now, if you're George here, what do you put this guy on? He's playing it like he's scared. He doesn't want to call. You don't put him on a set of deuces or a set of 3s, do you? I mean, do you put him maybe on 5-6? What do you put him on?
And
here?
George has about 1,300. Look at that. He's going to muck the 4-5.
Wow.
Mucks the 4-5.
What a laydown.
Yep. $3,000 bet there on the turn. Wow, well, that's definitely not
That's a
pricing it out.
great laydown by George.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean,
Can I see it?
I'll go as far as saying 95 out of, and the river would have been a 6.
River was a 6. He would have made the
He
straight.
would have made the straight. Great bet by Ollie there, and he takes it down. He was pretty sure he had the best hand, and he didn't want anybody drawing.
Now,
against him.
was it a great bet, though? Again, we talk about knowing the amount to bet. Are you going to bet that amount? You don't have the nuts. Can you get called by someone who beats you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to risk less?
Probably. Yeah,
You know?
I do. As I think about it, probably.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of fun actually commentating and doing this. I'll tell you one thing: my poker game has improved tenfold. Watching this, watching countless hours, seeing what mistakes people make.
Well, there was a lot of room for improvement.
If you had 4 something.
So that was kind of like I was kind of playing slow pitch, slow ball. Here you go. Here it is, softball right to you.
Hanging curveball, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't necessarily on a draw.
He wasn't on the draw.
I said I wasn't necessarily on a draw. He wasn't. He had a big. That was a big laydown. Wow. He just figured he was beat somewhere.
By a 4 with a bigger kicker?
Or straight.
Oh, or straight, yeah.
Straight. I mean, there was a straight out there.
Yeah.
The only thing I would probably dismiss is I would not put Ollie on a set of deuces or a set of threes.
Right, a full house.
Because
right.
why bet that much?
Or 4-3 or whatever. A
Exactly.
combination.
Why bet that much?
Hi, please.
So you start thinking of other hands. He's clearly scared of maybe either a straight, or he was scared of the flush. I don't. I gotta be honest. I don't know if I get away from that. I don't think I do.
I'll run 3 times.
I'll give credit to George there. I mean, he actually would have gotten there, but he was behind. I think he was playing the player. He just didn't think Ollie would make that move without a 4 or better.
Well, Ramsey bet in here with Queen Jack. Tony and Allen both called.
4 X kick.
Turn is a 6.
Because it is like pocket. It's the same thing.
Allen's got the best hand.
And Allen checks. I don't really know why you'd call there with 3-4 on the flop. But he does have the best hand. Let's see if he makes the call here on the river, because a deuce comes. Now remember, Ramsey checked the turn, and now he's going to bet. And look at it, Allen just folds like it's nothing. Boy, that's strange, Dave.
Yeah, to me, that kind of when Ramsey bet it and then he called. To me, it kind of screamed like he had a draw.
And well, then he checked the turn, and now
Yeah,
he
exactly.
bets
That's what I'm
the
saying.
river.
That's what.
Strange.
And I don't think the deuce of clubs completed his draw.
No.
Yeah, $3,000 on the flop there, on the turn there. That's a big bet. I mean, my only thinking is that George has got to be thinking, okay, this guy is scared. He doesn't want to see the river. So what might he have? And you start thinking of the hands he might have, and he might say, well, Ollie must have a 4 also. And if he has a 4, then he definitely has me out kicked.
King, he made you off.
Wow, interesting hands.
I tell you, 90% of people call you right there.
And I guess with 1 card to go,
4-4 on the flop.
open-ended with trips is not enough.
I don't know. Whatever he did, he made a good move. Good play.
He actually had a lot of outs, though. 4 aces, 4 sixes, and 2 5s. 3 5s, sorry.
Actually, the aces wouldn't have done it.
Oh, right, an ace would not
Yeah.
have done it. That would have been a full house. Obviously,
Yeah.
straight wouldn't have been good. Thank you.
9-7-6 here, Rainbow on the flop.
So he had 4 6s and 3 5s, so 7 outs on the river. Obviously not getting odds to call.
I would have called
George,
up.
it's up here.
Well, when he bets in on the turn, Dave, I mean, now that it gets paired up on the turn, he's not going to be betting in with 2 pair, obviously.
Yeah,
So
no, I
it's-
don't buy that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ollie's not the bluffing type.
Jack on the turn.
He clearly had something.
checked around on the flop.
Go ahead.
Tony's got the best hand now, huh?
Check.
He's going to bet 75, it looks like.
Yeah, he's got the button.
I got diamond rail.
Well, here's another question for you. Why doesn't Allen bet the flop there? Well, actually, he wasn't. He was in the cutoff. But betting the flop might buy you the button there with deuce 7. I don't know why he's in with deuce 7 suited, but in the cutoff, 6-9-7. Well,
Yeah.
I just...
It's hard to
Because, like, when you
it's hard
play
to
those
evaluate his
hands-
play after the flop because I'm looking at it going, oh, and the laughing happy Buddha. There we go, back in focus. The laughing happy Buddha
and
is not very happy today.
People have called that different names on 2+2 on the board.
Yeah, I know.
Am I 5?
And yeah, the Buddha has not done well for Hollywood Russ tonight.
straddled there by Mo.
all right.
So it's going to be $20.
Yeah, I
to
can't.
call.
It's hard to really critique Allen's play post flop because I'm looking at it going, well, what? I wouldn't even be in there
Yeah,
with
why
7
would you
deuce.
be?
What? You know?
Yeah.
Instead of
Ooh, Tony's going to raise here to 100. He's got 4-6 of spades. And now it is a straddled pot, Dave, so you do want to loosen your raises up. More dead money in there.
Hey, he's trying to. He's in position.
Actually, excuse me, he has ace-jack offsuit.
Hey, ace jack,
has
4-6. What's the difference?
And Mo mucks king suited like it's nothing. Tony's a pretty tight player there as well. We got about 5-10 minutes left in the show. Boy, these 3-hour shows just fly by now, Dave. I mean, where I'm not talking, you talk almost as much as I do. So we never have to worry about any dead time.
Was that my cue?
Well, not much in terms of hands this time.
Yeah, I tell.
Nah, they're going to chop it.
Yeah, see, if I'm Mo, I would never chop. I know he does it. I think part of the reason is he hosted the game and he's trying to create some goodwill. But to me, if you think you're a good player, why would you not want to play heads up?
But,
Shot at one of our cocktail waitresses.
I mean, the thing... Yeah, there you go. And the same thing can be said about in limit, too, Dave. I mean, obviously at limits like 6-12 or 4-8 when they're taking 3 or 4 plus 1 with the jackpot, it makes sense to chop it. But at 20-40 or 30-60, it doesn't. But as we are both props, we are kind of ambassadors for the casino, and I just do it for goodwill.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I've pretty much always chop in limit hold'em, and I never chop in no limit hold'em.
Uh-huh.
But
it actually makes sense not to chop it in limit either.
I'm thrilled when some guy comes in, sits down. Like I was actually playing 20-40 last night, and the guy sat down and he goes, I'm here to gamble. I'm not chopping. I love that.
Yeah.
I made sure I sat to his left, so I was in position if anybody ever checked, folded to us. And I was like, great, let's play.
It sucks.
4 tray on the flop here.
George has got the best hand.
Gets checked around. Ooh, there, George fills up now.
Yep. Now, this might be a time you throw in a little bet here. Especially now. I was going to say, you might have gotten called by Ramsey anyway, thinking, 2 pair and an ace high.
Oh, he's checked it again. He checks the river again, and now Ramsey bets with the ace.
I want to see your hand.
He bets $10. Mo calls.
Mo calls with jack high. He thinks the board's going to play.
And I think George check raises to 20.
Yeah.
He check raises to 20.
Well, I think Mo thought maybe the board would play, and obviously it's not.
So what? Like he's gonna pull?
No.
All right, let him
4
pull.
ace. How about that? How about 4 ace?
Cool. I bet it could. He come $10.
And look at this. Ramsey's laying it
How
down.
about 4 ace?
Go ahead.
You have 4-3,
Make
right?
your move. Go ahead.
And part of the problem with never bluffing, I mean, George actually does bluff once in a while. Part of it is you never get paid off on your hands.
Well, that would have been quite a move for George to check raise there with a chop pot or get somebody off of an ace, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. That's interesting, but no.
And you see how often you can win a pot without showing your cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
No limit hold'em. The great thing about it is you don't really need the hands.
No, he's not gonna pull.
I mean, how many times tonight have we actually shown down somebody shown down a winner?
Okay, he's buying. He's gonna make 1 hand. Right there. He missed the blind, right? He's buying the water. You wait 1 hand.
Once again, my blog, actually, you can go to liveatthebike.com, and my blog, Under the Gun with David Tuckman, is actually up, latest one, and I'll be trying to update that once a week or so.
And I'll be posting there. I don't know if is it your Under the Gun, or do we all get to post an Under the Gun?
Well, you can come up with your own name.
Oh, okay.
But mine is Under the Gun.
Ah. I thought it was Under the Gun, which was like the part of the website where we get to post.
No, I came up with that. Under the Gun with David Tuckman. It's kind of catchy, isn't it? You can do how about the Inside Straight with Bart Hansen? That's pretty good, right? Off the top of my head, I just came up with that just now. Pretty impressive.
I would like the blinds right now so I can pay for this meal.
Button is in seat 1. Small blind is 5. Big blind is 10.
A couple of ace 10s.
Looks like they're all limping around here.
I don't want to lose my stack.
$60 pot to the flop.
Keep it here.
Four again?
Queen 4-4. Hollywood Russ. He's got the best hand with King Queen. He's gonna throw in a bet. Early position.
Let's see if somebody smooth calls and sets him a play.
Yeah, right, Dave. And then
It's a good time. It's a great time
Come
to
on.
smooth call though, because you can represent so many things. If you have like a naked ace in your hand, there's so many things you can represent. You can represent spades. You can represent, the 4 obviously. It's a great tournament play. I'm getting word this is the last hand of the night.
It is the last hand of the night. And I believe Shirley will be in here with me tomorrow. We'll see you on Thursday. Is that right? Thursday?
Yeah, actually, we might be mixing up the schedule a little bit because of I'm going to not be here Friday because I'm flying out to Hawaii. So I might be here
Swelling
tomorrow.
with anticipation. Pocket Kings here.
I'll miss you guys though.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about you while I'm on the beach.
Pocket Kings here for for David there in seat 9.
30.
Makes it 30.
Just $30. Wow, that's a pretty small raise. And
Alan
George,
linked in with
did George have 3s?
No, he had 6-3.
Oh, I thought he had pocket 3s.
And Alan's limped in early position with Queen 5 of diamonds.
And now
here.
he's taking it heads up with one player, with one razor.
Ace 5. We saw David check this heads up before earlier in the night.
And
Ace
heads
5,
up,
9.
he's going to bet it.
Okay.
But look at that. That's kind of a scared bet.
And Alan calls with the Queen 5.
That's a kind of scared. Tell me that's not a scared bet.
Now,
$20.
Alan could really represent spades here, Dave. Oh, it can't. Well, it's not going to get David off the hand now. Alan checks. I mean, if Alan's going to call with any pair, I'd love him to represent other hands as well. But he's going to muck there.
That's going to do it for us, huh?
That's going to do it for us tonight. Well, tonight started off a little tight, but started to get some action towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
Of course, your posts and live interaction with our email was well appreciated. Makes the night go a little bit faster.
Always.
When the night goes slow. So please join us again tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Remember, Live at the Bike is on every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9. For everybody here at the booth, poker champion Isaac and David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hansen. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.